719-0850. October 12th, it's the Pelicans and Rockets at Legacy Arena right here in Birmingham. BirminghamSquadron.com.
Top of the city, far from what we know. Exposed is the valley and the dregs we throw. We lie in abundance to the neon light, made to endure the flames you ignite. Cast your stones. Ooh, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm going out that door, yeah. Ooh, it's a shame. It's a long road, that's a lot of weight to carry along. It's a long road, that's a lot of weight to carry along. It's a long road, that's a lot of weight to carry. Ooh, it's a shame. You last to know.
Want more of The Next Round? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Man, you want a guest lineup? We got one today, boys. Next segment, Roman Harper joins us to talk college football. To start the final hour, Buster Olney's here to talk about it can't be a World Series matchup, but the two teams in baseball start a series tonight. Braves, Dodgers in L.A. tonight on the Major League Baseball Network. If you want to watch the end of that game after you're through watching a little college football tonight. And then we've got Dan Orlovsky on the show. He joins us at 11:45 to send us out of here into football season. But we start, guys, with a little history. It is
history.
It's the official opening day of college football. Week 0 is sort of an appetizer. Entree starts getting served tonight. For the first time in 8 years, can you tell me what has happened today?
For the first time in 8 years, Lance.
Take a guess.
First time.
Happy college football season to you, Ashley. Happy college football season to you, Kyle, and everyone else. No hats
for
today.
The first time
We
in
are
8
dressed
years, the SEC will not kick off the Thursday night slate.
We have Florida playing. We have Missouri playing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about like the first game.
Oh, the first game out? No, I don't think that's it.
I don't think
First time in 8 years.
Anybody on the back row? Anybody on the back row?
I don't know,
First
Jim. Why
row.
don't you just tell us?
Here's a little hint. It could involve our friends at mybookie.ag.
Okay. For the first time in 8 years.
For the first time in 8 years, Will is close. For the first time in 8 years, you start week 1 with Alabama or Clemson not the odds-on favorite to win the national championship.
I did see that.
Yeah. In
I'm
fact,
a little surprised Georgia wasn't. Well, I guess Alabama was last year, but I'm a little surprised Georgia wasn't.
Alabama 7 of the last 8 years. Clemson has been in there as well. Georgia goes off on this game day starting week 1 as the betting favorite to win the national championship, followed closely by Alabama.
Yeah, you don't have to go too far. It's not like they're TCU.
Crumbling dynasty. Alabama right behind them.
It is interesting that Georgia has an unknown in Carson Beck at quarterback, but I mean, this is the reason Alabama's not favored. I mean, I understand Georgia's won back-to-back championships, but again, if Alabama had a Sam Hartman starting at quarterback, I think it would be different.
Yeah, probably so, because it's the quarterback question that has everybody out there. Real quickly, as we jump in here, a couple of people are asking, how are you going to replace Quinterly this year in the backcourt for Alabama? They're talking about the Nate Oates jacket.
I used to, and you guys will back me up, I used to dress like this all the time when we weren't on this format.
Yeah.
You dressed better in our radio days
Yeah,
when
so
nobody
weird.
could see us.
So
No
weird.
doubt. And
I mean, like, I remember Lance walking in the radio studio in a hat, and I'm like, whoa, why, long night?
Yeah.
It's just gotten so comfortable post-COVID and what we do, and you never know how hot or cold the studio is going to be. So I started to wear shorts a little bit. The desk cuts it off. It doesn't really matter. But we do have television obligations.
Yeah, we've got obligations.
Yeah, I don't want to tell them what it is, but we have, I like the theater of the mind, LT.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have some business dealings to deal with a little bit later on today.
We've got to testify on behalf of Dunaway.
Yeah. Or maybe we're making more acquisitions.
Speaking of which, I'm supposed to be in, or was it last week? I was supposed to have jury duty.
Yeah.
What?
You could have been in the same jury pool as Little T's mom.
I think different
I know.
counties.
Oh.
I think it's different
Yeah,
counties.
I think it is. I think she's Jefferson.
She's
we're
Jefferson.
Shelby.
Lance would have been Shelby.
Oh, so
Yeah, but I've pushed it back to December.
you would have been out in the burbs.
Out in the country.
Man, it's crazy how big Shelby County is.
It's large.
Yours would have been a white collar crime.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys.
Some landowner.
But based on my religious beliefs, it's hard for me to judge anybody.
Yeah.
That is true. I hesitate. I hesitate to pass judgment on people, Lance.
Yeah.
Only on this show.
Yeah, that's
Well,
it. It's the only time as entertainment I will pass judgment.
I am going to say, if you try to use that to get out of jury duty, there's going to be a judge somewhere that says, Bailiff, will you pull up that YouTube round, that next round YouTube channel?
Yeah. Well, no,
This gentleman says he doesn't pass judgment on anyone.
I mean, we're saying all this right now, so Forrester can go ahead and clip this out and save this for us.
Pin it at the
For
top.
me, as a 30-year media member,
I find myself always judging people guilty. So I don't think I can rule anybody fairly. I just assume everybody is crooked.
I have just
That guy,
always.
he looks guilty.
There's a reason why we're all in this courtroom.
He did it.
He did it.
I've just always wanted to send somebody to Atmore for the juice. That's all I want in life, man.
I think Rocky's done jury duty. Have either one of you guys been on jury duty?
I have not.
I was there for a day and a half and got cut.
I've been selected I've had it 3 times, never been selected to a jury. I always get dismissed.
So the worst thing for me is I was there for a day and a half, and at lunch day 1, I went to the I lived in Jefferson County at the time, so I was downtown, and I went to the public library and checked a book out to read because I didn't think to take a book with me. Right?
Do you remember the book?
Yeah, it was. I'd never read John Feinstein's Seasonal on the Brink, the one that made him famous, the behind the scenes with Bob Knight.
Damon Bailey, right?
Yeah, Damon Bailey and Bob Knight.
I read the epilogue.
I'd never.
I read the SI article that talked about the book.
I had never read it, so I went and checked it out, and then I got cut the next day, and I forgot. I was so enthralled in the book, I forgot to turn it back in. So then I had to go. When I finished the book, I had to drive it all the way back down to the library and turn it in. That was a pain.
Which was worse, checking it back in or jury duty?
Well, I never got on a jury. I sat in the jury room for a day and a half, and at lunch the next day, they came in and said, all right, we've got I did actually get pulled into one, and I thought I was going to have to get on a jury. And we walk across to the courthouse, and we stand out in the lobby, and they say, okay, you guys can go back. And I was like, what the crap just happened? And the guy's like, yeah, most of the time when they hear jurors show up, they start the settlement talks.
Yeah,
the one thing they don't want to do.
So I've never been on jury duty, but I have in a criminal justice class. They sent us to court to watch different cases. And I remember I got fascinated for 2 days watching this case. These 2 old boys, and they were brothers. They ended up beating a guy within an inch of his life with a Maglite flashlight.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it was pretty interesting how it went down, how the altercation started in the bar that led to the parking lot, how they went to the car, got the Maglite. One held him down, the other one beat him.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's with intent.
Guilty.
Pritch Law writes in, by the way, that's a very modern interpretation of Matthew 7, he says. By the way, Florida loses tonight is what he backs it up with. It is football tonight. We'll get into the conversation about the games we'll see, and then Roman Harper right after LT tells us about our friends at Redmont Vodka.
Again, Redmont Vodka is an incredible locally owned and operated product. Pick up a bottle. The weekend is almost here. Again, Redmont Vodka, one of the great faces behind the product is Charles Barkley. Their aim is clarity in taste, color, and smell. It's vodka perfection. Redmont Vodka is made from corn, which not only makes it gluten-free, also provides that smooth finish, no harsh aftertaste. 8 times distilled, available at your local package and ABC stores, including the Pink Package and Beverage Place. Ask for it by name. Available in 22 states. It is Redmont Vodka.
Hey, before we do the football, 92,003 fans last night at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln for a volleyball game where number 4 Nebraska beat Omaha. Powerhouse program sets a world record for most people to attend a women's sporting event, passing some Premier League women's soccer match in Europe, passing the Brandi Chastain Rose Bowl goal in the Women's World Cup, which I thought would be 100,000, but apparently it was just 90,000 fans there for that. But 92,003 last night at Nebraska for volleyball. And I, as you watched the images and saw a little bit of this on the Big Ten Network, the seats were filled. This was not, I couldn't find an empty seat and thing. It was an impressive sight last night out in Nebraska. Just beautiful pictures from that. And maybe Forrester will give us some of that during commercial breaks or something later on, or maybe we'll bring it back. But it was beautiful last night, and that'll lead into football season happening tonight. Nebraska's football team on the road at Minnesota. Probably the second high-profile game tonight. The big one is in Salt Lake City, Florida, and Utah. Here's Billy Napier talking about last year's game where the Gators probably got Billy Napier's signature win, beating Cam Rising in Utah in the opener. Here's Billy.
For the guys that were a part of that win against Utah, what can they take from that experience and just what that took to open up the season within a matchup like this?
Well, that game is going to have nothing to do with this game, right? The players on our team and the players on their team, are going to line up and play this year, right? So I think that we have some familiarity. Obviously, we spent time planning for that game. They spent time planning for that game. There's a little bit more background in that regard. But, ultimately this team that we have this year has got to put the ball down and go compete and find a way to win the game, right? So there's a lot of motivators here, and certainly on their side they'll be very motivated.
So in the news that yesterday, Pete Thamel and others reporting that Cam Rising doubtful now. Not that he's not rehabbing, still trying to get out there, but he's doubtful. And that means it's time for one-time walk-on, not even recruited. I mean, maybe a preferred walk-on, but he wasn't like a star guy. One-time walk-on, Bryson Barnes or Nate Johnson. Barnes is going to get the start, according to reports. Then possibly Nate Johnson comes in. That'll be the quarterbacks for Utah as we're sitting here on opening day. How are we feeling about that game?
Well, look, Bryson Barnes has got some experience, and he has the luxury of at least playing at Rice-Eccles, a venue where they've won 25 of the last 26. The biggest thing for Utah is you look at last year, Montrell Johnson, Trevor Etienne, they go 283 on the ground. They missed 29 tackles, according to Kyle Whittingham, in last year's game. You can't do that and win a football game. I believe I've got to play on this game.
Where, Lance? At Lance's Lock?
At lanceslock.com.
Oh,
where we were 2-0.
2-0.
Little momentum coming in today. One of the reasons I dressed up, it is
Yeah.
all business today as we roll into football season.
What were you in football last weekend?
In football last weekend, I don't know.
10 games.
Yeah, I was 8-2 overall. But again, last year, college football, 57%.
Oh, my gosh.
Right? The NFL, 58%.
Oh, my gosh.
We're going to have 3 plays up today.
Oh,
Excited
my
about
gosh.
that. The side of this game will be one of those plays. I don't want to give too much away. I don't know what to expect from Graham Mertz. Really, with Bryson Barnes, I think he's known he's been starting this game for the last month.
Yep.
So I don't think it's going to sneak up on him.
But you can tell me how you feel this game is going to go. What do you think happens tonight?
I think Florida's going to win the game. Now, I do worry about a couple things. Graham Mertz making his first road start. He didn't make road starts in the Big Ten. But he made road starts in the Big Ten with teams he was comfortable with. He had played on the road with before. You've got a little familiarity. Having to make your first start with a brand new team, brand new set of players, and do it in a hostile environment like this, that's tough. And the center being out that you mentioned yesterday, I think is huge. Because if Florida center can't go, he's the guy that communicates, the pass protections with his offensive line. Now you're asking a backup with a first-time starter at quarterback.
And by the way, all new guys together for their first game because you have 4 new starters and 4 backups that you lost for Florida.
Now I'm in a hostile environment against a good defense, and I'm asking a bunch of new guys to communicate properly along the offensive front with a quarterback that his mind's going a million miles an hour, so he might not see the same thing. That is alarming to me if I'm a Florida fan.
Well,
that aspect of this game is alarming to me.
There is a reason that Utah has won back-to-back Pac-12 championships because they play the best defense. And if there is any team that can at least emulate what the SEC does on that side of the football, especially up front, it is Kyle Whittingham in Utah. And, I was talking to Brock Hewitt from Fox on Unlocked yesterday on Disrupt the Media. You can download, subscribe. We were talking about great venues, and we were talking about shaky camera games he used to play at Husky Stadium.
Yeah.
But he was talking about Rice-Eccles. He was like, it's really, really underrated, and it's what we call an altitude.
It is an altitude game. Done away. That's what scares you the most. Last year was a humidity game.
It was.
And I do think that helped Florida against Utah. Utah looked like they melted a little bit in the fourth quarter.
Maybe the ball slipped out of Cam Rising's hands because of a little sweat.
They
on
melted a little bit. This is an altitude game. That worries you a little bit for Florida.
Ian Fitzsimmons, who's on with the roundtable, throwback roundtable show with LT, also on Disrupt the Media, said last night on his ESPN radio show that he calls the atmosphere at Rice-Eccles medieval, that it gets that rowdy. Other than Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, he thinks it's the rowdiest of all the student sections.
Interesting.
So
Never been there, so I can't disagree with Fitz either.
And look, and Ian worked there for a year, and so, he's actually been to Rice-Eccles. He's been to that environment, so I don't know if he's overhyping or not, but it looks like on TV, it looks like a really good environment.
So that's happening tonight. You'll get that game 7 o'clock on ESPN. Florida and Utah. MyBookie.ag odds goes off -4.5 in that contest tonight, likely without Cam Rising, but maybe still with enough of what is going on that football team. Really underrated defense against Florida and Graham Mertz tonight. Should be an interesting contest. Nebraska and Minnesota is the other one. Minnesota, a 7-point favorite. That game's 7 o'clock straight up on Fox. Joel Klatt on our show yesterday talked a little about that game. And you can get that wherever you get us podcasted. We'll talk more about what else is going on. But one more note on Utah before I tell you about our friends at Legacy is that Utah is one of 3 teams trying to set a three-peat legacy this year. They're going for a three-peat in the Pac-12. Michigan's going for a three-peat in the Big Ten. Ironically, the SEC is so powerful that Georgia's going for a three-peat in national championships, but not a three-peat in the SEC.
Not even their own conference.
Which one do you feel the best about?
I feel the best about.
Well, I don't feel
I
great
don't think
about any of them.
none of them have.
Yeah.
I feel the best about Michigan.
Yep.
Just because they're hosting the game at home.
Probably
And I know that's a
so.
one-game situation.
Yeah.
It'll take a lot for Georgia
Yeah.
to do what they do. It'll take a lot for Utah to get back to win another Pac-12 championship. For Michigan, one-game situation at home.
I would say I would go Georgia, Michigan, Utah. And I don't feel good. I would lean to none, Georgia, Michigan, Utah.
I definitely think one of the 3 happens.
You think one of the 3 happens. I don't think any of them happen tonight. Our buddy Jake saying hello to you over there in the Vulcan
Hello,
Tire,
Jake.
and Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room over there. Thanks for jumping in, Jake, and everyone else in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room. You can jump in. Our friends at Legacy, proud supporters of UAB, they're in action tonight. North Carolina A&T in town. No betting line officially on that game because North Carolina A&T, not an FBS team. But UAB kicking off Trent Dilford. He was on the show this week. Trent Dilfer, the new head coach at UAB. You can get that wherever you get our show podcast and check that out. Also, the quarterback.
Jacob Zeno, he was with us Monday. Really, really good interview. And I'm excited to see what he does. He's excited under this offense. Talked to him in that interview. So I'm excited to see what he looks like under Trent Dilfer.
So wherever you get our content, that's where you will get those interviews as well. And our friends at Legacy want to remind you that with football season starting, what's not too far away? The holiday season not too far away. And Legacy Credit and the Legacy Credit Card is just what you need to manage your spending safely and wisely. Credit cards offer better consumer protections against fraud when compared to a debit card, which is linked directly to your bank account. Legacy offers rates as low as 8.9% APR on credit cards compared to major card providers who advertise rates as high as 29% APR. Big difference there. 8.9 to 29% APR. Look no further than Legacy and open a credit card online in minutes at legacycreditunion.com/join. legacycreditunion.com/join. APR is the annual percentage rate. Rates and offers subject to change. See website for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Can I ask you a television question since you worked many years in television?
Yes, Brownie. I got virtually my TV clothes on today.
Yeah, you're very, very close
Sports
to the way you
coat
used to look.
downstairs, ready to go.
Yeah, me too in the car.
Probably will be in TV studio later today.
That's right, maybe.
Acquisitions, baby.
Acquisitions. So and there are a lot of people in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room a little panicked about this CBS Birmingham situation with DirecTV and DirecTV Stream. So you've been working for a TV when they're off one of those, like DirecTV or Dish or Charter. And you, I think, were with 42 when football season was approaching, right? And they were
no,
one.
1 year they threatened to pull it off in December 1st was going to be
SEC
when they
championship.
dropped, and it was going to be an SEC championship. And we went to the trouble of throwing a big party in downtown Homewood with a couple of big screens just to invite people down to watch the SEC championship game on that. But we ended up still doing the party, but in the 11th hour, things were
resolved.
settled.
And that was the question I was going to ask. Like, how panicked do you think both sides are when we're approaching the first football weekend?
You know, it's different. Back then it was a smaller company.
Right. And this is a company thing. It's not the local CBS.
That's right.
This is a bigger. I think Nexstar is who owns them. If
That's
I'm not
right. It's
mistaken.
not WIAT. So this
Right.
affects several stations around the country, and some of them are not CBS affiliates. But you have to negotiate. It's crazy how this, but there's a certain amount of money that local affiliates get paid to be carried on DirecTV or on Spectrum, so they have to pay that. And there's a negotiation that goes back and forth between the two. What is helping local CBS this week is how many SEC games are on CBS this
Well,
week?
it's 0, but I mean, this is not just, and I don't know where the rest of their channels are and if they're even CBS, but if I'm a Birmingham consumer here, as I am, I want to watch Ohio State, Indiana. I mean, Ohio State's going to run them out of the stadium, but I want to see what Ohio State looks like. I think Texas Tech, Wyoming's a good football game at 6:30.
Who gave it as a sneaky good game?
That would be James Dunaway.
Yeah.
And then if James Dunaway is correct on all these things, Northwestern Rutgers, I could probably live without. I'm going to be honest with you. I will have watched a bunch of football by then.
Yeah.
Oregon State, San Jose State, a Lance special right there.
Sneaky good
game.
I don't know how it gets settled, but I would suggest you call your DirecTV people and you say, look, why am I not switching to YouTube TV today to where I can just start tomorrow getting all my programming? Right. Why am I not switching to that? Tell me why I shouldn't switch. Why are you not willing to pay these people, providing you a way to make money?
And it goes both ways. I mean, both people are negotiating here. So this is on both DirecTV and Nexstar.
Yeah, but I don't know anybody at DirecTV. I know people at CBS 42, so I'm on their side.
No, I know that. But I was just going to say calling CBS 42 is a complete waste of time. They have no say-so in this at all.
So Troy's
I'd go DirecTV.
saying Apollo Group TV. That's the one I was telling you guys about yesterday. Andrew's saying Uzi works. It didn't work for me. I've already paid for it. I'm going to try it again.
Okay, we got a quick break here. Roman Harper coming up on the other side. Good luck on finding the games. We'll get all to the other games throughout the show. A lot to get to today. We'll get more into that Nebraska-Minnesota game we wanted to get to here in the opening segment. Maybe we'll talk a little bit of that with Roman Harper. He played the college game, played the pro game too. He's coming up next on the show. This being brought to you by our friends at Chicken Cock.
Chicken Cock, a great whiskey. You need to pick up a bottle today. We've been telling you about them for a while. I actually discovered this great brand last year during Bama and Bourbon. Now they are proud to be the official bourbon right here on the Next Round. Chicken Cock Whiskey, one of the oldest whiskey brands in America, founded in 1856 in Bourbon County, Kentucky, known as the famous old brand. Chicken Cock Whiskey has that name you will not forget. Chicken Cock preceded popular usage of the term rooster in describing a male chicken. Additionally, rooster tails were used to stir cocktails, i.e. the cocktail. You can get the bourbon and rye available in Alabama. All expressions are available for special order. Your local ABC store or order online. Get more information, chickencockwhiskey.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter @ScottForresterTV.
Don't miss your chance to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Open 24/7, so come on in for non-stop gaming action. You'll find the latest, hottest, most exciting games around. And you'll love the fun bonuses and big jackpots. Plus, you can watch and wager on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. Your best bet for big wins is just minutes away at Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where you can be a winner too. Birmingham Racecourse Casino off I-459, exit 31 Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
When the weather gets warm in the Deep South, there's nothing better than spending your days outside. Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. When you're outside, there are a couple of things you want to be certain about. Number one, your yard looks the best it can. And number two, you're not always swatting away those mosquitoes. My friends at Wayne's take care of both those things for me. And Wayne's is celebrating their 50th year. So right now, get $50 off your pest, your termite, your lawn, and your mosquito services. Visit callwaynes.com or call 866-WAYNES-1.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
It's time for back to school again. Hi, this is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store, and we have all the New Balance shoes and apparel your kids need to keep them at their best this fall. We have the largest selection of New Balance shoes in Birmingham, including all the newest styles. And our fit specialists are trained in measuring growing feet. So here at the New Balance store, they'll get the perfect fit every time. Get ready for back to school now by shopping with us at the New Balance Birmingham store, located on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
The Next Round store is live and loaded. Check out the latest logo t-shirts and hoodies. Get your favorite team colors, the Next Round flag shirt, or grab the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest t-shirts. Go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
All right, Roman Harper here in just a second. Part of the show being brought to you by Way to Wellness. 184 today, Rockstar. It's the lowest I've been on this platform. 184.
What's your goal?
I can't even see you in that seat.
My goal is 184. I've got layers.
Where'd it go?
Well, I mean, it was 187. Fortunately, you may have to continue to tighten up my shot a little bit if I keep shrinking. We just may want to keep tight. We may have to move the camera even closer. No, keep it far away. I don't look good, especially with that.
Are you going to be? You know, Feinbaum was fat one day.
That's right.
Are you going to be Feinbaum?
No.
Pants falling off.
Literally, I am concerned that I don't want to lose this much weight in 1 week. Coming back from the Floribama, I thought I'd laid some pounds on down there, but apparently we kept moving around. We kept going, man.
Yeah, you can get a parasite maybe. You know.
Can.
Yeah, so maybe you got a parasite.
Oh, one of us may have had a parasite. It wasn't me overnight. Part of the show brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Here's the deal, man. I got a checkup earlier this week. All the numbers were fantastic, including cholesterol and other things. And I appreciate Leslie for saving my life a few years ago, back when I was just a fat radio guy, 216 pounds. I decided to lose some weight because we were coming over here, be on camera, 184 pounds today. They helped me jumpstart my weight loss. Then I also control my blood pressure and cholesterol numbers. It all worked out. It can work out for you too. Just go to this website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. It's your journey to healthy living. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free. It is Way to Wellness. The website again, aplanforme.com.
Let's go to the Show Me State, as Wimp called it, Missouri. That's where we find the great Roman Harper. He is with us courtesy of our friends at mybookie.ag. Code Next Round. Harp going to join us in this segment every single week, schedule permitting. Mybookie.ag, code Next Round to get that welcome bonus. Get signed up tonight. You'll see Harp on the SEC Network right before South Dakota and Missouri kick at 7 o'clock. Welcome in, Roman. How are you today?
I'm doing good, fellas. What's good, man? I actually got my Rockstar shirt on.
I noticed that.
Hey. Amen, brother.
Just trying to be on brand, fellas.
I love it.
Love it. That is fantastic.
Those are the softest shirts in the world, aren't they?
They are very good, man. If I slept in a shirt, I would sleep in this shirt.
Yeah.
Just put it like that, you know what I mean? But instead, I wore it to a Mexican restaurant with me and Marty Smith. It was great last night.
I love you whipping all the ladies into a frenzy. If I slept into a shirt. Hey, so how, Missouri, I mean, nobody's getting excited about this game necessarily tonight, but Missouri, they've always been a weird fit in the SEC. Moving forward, Eli Drinkwitz has done what Missouri coaches do, and that's win about half their games. What is the future for Missouri?
That is the most backhanded compliment ever.
It is.
I love it.
You know that.
It was so drab. Honestly, guys, I actually like this Missouri team and a little bit more. And so I'm going into the season pretty open-minded about Missouri. Let's talk about the one things I do know is that they can win more games than a lot of people saying them to have like 6 or 7 wins. I think they could get upwards of that just for number one reason. They have one of the two things that always travels, and that's defense. They bring back more defensive production than anybody else in the SEC. They got a really good linebacker in Tyron Harper and a couple guys up front. The secondary brings back a ton of players and Missouri's defense was the most improved defense throughout the SEC as a whole, as far as like from season to season. Missouri was that team. And so whenever you got a good defense with that much production coming back, they will be solid. They will be in every game. And if you'd have told me that looking at Georgia's schedule, the team that was going to play them closest at everybody, it would have been Missouri. I would have laughed at you. And so they have some elements that can help them stay in the games that are really, really good. But it's going to come down to this new hire of Kirby Moore, the offensive coordinator, in my opinion, where he's going to help bring in this vertical pass game. They need to get better in the pass game. You know, I like the quarterback position for Missouri, but they got to do those things. And then they got to find ways to just win games. Last year, they just gave 2 or 3 away. I mean, the fumble against Auburn, they missed the kick as well earlier. It's just game after game, it just seems like Missouri either finds a way to maybe upset somebody or they find a way to just give a game away. And they got to get over that hump before they're going to be looked at as a different type of team in the SEC.
I mean, everyone's talking about Alabama's quarterback competition, but at Missouri, Brady Cook, 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions last year. But Sam Horn and Jake Garcia, guys that, people that if you follow recruiting, you recognize those names. Eli says it's going to go into this game. The competition is going to continue. Do you like that when coaches carry these quarterback competitions into openers?
Well, I don't know their roster situation. So I thought Brady Cook was fine. I just thought, like, the weapons and the things that they were asking him to do wasn't always on point. So because he's very athletic, he can run. He shown flashes in the option game. He's shown that he can throw the ball too, but that's not what they're looking for. They want to keep this thing open. And it's also, hey, I'm fine with it. Competition brings out the best in everybody. And everybody, I had a depth chart question yesterday by another media outlet, and they were asking me, like, how do I feel about that, the whole depth chart and, not releasing the depth chart or keeping competition. I was like, I just really struggle with those things because I was always at the top of the depth chart. So it doesn't really bother me. You know what I mean? Like, I never had an issue with that. So it doesn't bother me. But I mean, if people want to make it what it is, and if they feel that that is some sort of competitive advantage where I'm never going to name a starter because we don't want to let the other team know how to scout us or what to do against us, whatever. I mean, it's still gamesmanship, but at the end of the day, you still got to kick the ball off, and only one of them can go out there at a time. So as long as I know the differences in between the two, I'm fine. But for some weird reason, coaches like to wind themselves all up that, the whole world is out to get them. And the moment we release a depth chart, then everybody knows what's going on. So that's my opinion on it in a long way. But
as a second and third stringer my entire baseball career, I used the depth chart as motivation.
That's right.
I needed some playing time, so I tried to work my way up. I understand you guys at the top. I was the guy trying to bite at your heels, man. I didn't cheer for injuries, but I did look for opportunities to get into
games. Roman Harper is with us, SEC Network. You'll see him tonight from Columbia, leading into Missouri and South Dakota. He's with us courtesy each week of MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign up there at MyBookie.ag for that welcome bonus, and you can start playing right away at MyBookie.ag. On the other SEC game tonight, Florida's at Utah. They got a quarterback now Graham Mertz is experienced, but he's not experienced with Florida. You got a center that's out. I think you're going to have to go back up center there at Florida. Now, all of a sudden, I'm in a hostile environment. My center, who's calling out all my protections, he's kind of fresh. My quarterback's never played a game with these guys. He's in that same hostile environment, and they're playing a good team. That may not be Hart, but it can be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, but then, initially, I'll just be honest with you guys. I thought this game wasn't even going to be close. I had Utah by like 20. And then I look up, Cam Rising's probably doubtful. The tight end for Utah is kind of doubtful. Florida's got a couple little injuries here. And now it's back to like, all right, it's a toss-up again. But I just don't think Florida's roster is built that great. I like their defensive coordinator. And it's not so much as I love the players as much as I love his philosophy. It's something to be said, like a good coach in my eyes is not somebody that can just call plays, but has the innate ability to be able to communicate, and not only communicate his philosophy, the things he's trying to get accomplished from a down in, down out basis, but then also the players can understand it and absorb it. So when I hear him talk, I'm like, oh, like I understand what he's trying to say and what he wants to do. So that lets me know that the players in that locker room and in that room really understand what he's trying to get done. And so they understand where they need to be at, where their eyes need to be at. Those are the best coaches for me. And so that's the defense. Now on offense, outside of the two running backs, there is nobody that strikes fear in you. And it's interesting because Florida has to continue to use the transfer portal to continue to fill up this roster and get it where they want it. But I just don't – Graham Mertz threw a lot of interceptions at Wisconsin and like a very conservative offense. And is Florida going to all of a sudden open it up? I don't anticipate that. I think they still want to use the run game to try and get things going. I just think it's going to be really tough being a more physical team than what Utah is. And that's the type of brand of football that Utah wants to do. It's at home. I'll take the home team just purely because it's college football and home field matters.
Harp, everyone has the Georgia Bulldogs winning the SEC East. The question is, who comes in second in the East? 11 o'clock on Saturday, both Tennessee and Kentucky play games they should easily win. But if I asked you who's in the better quarterback situation, is it Devin Leary at Kentucky, Joe Milton at Tennessee?
Man, that is a great question. So the popular answer is Joe Milton. And I would have said Joe Milton until I just came out of my lab. The last 72 hours, I've done a real deep dive in on Peyton Thorne and Devin Leary. Just a whole bunch of go back film. Dude, I'm a fan of this Devin Leary cat. Let's just be honest with you. Number one, all right, his arm strength is not going to wow you. He's not going to be jumping over people like Will Levis. He's not going to be throwing he doesn't have all those things. But, man, he is accurate. He knows how to get his decision-making. He knows how to get to his fourth option, whether it's 1-2 on the right, maybe a check down all the way back to the other side of the field, and diamond guys. I saw that on tape consistently. I saw him complete an 18-yard back shoulder throw on a 3rd and 15. I saw him with the it factor, a couple comebacks in the fourth quarter at NC State. Now, all that being said, I loved his quarterback play, his mindset, all those other things. But, dude, he got his ass knocked off at NC State. This guy was getting drilled. And so that's why he was beat up the way he was. And even though he was also showed the ability to be able to stare down the barrel of the gun when guys are coming right down on you and still delivering the ball. So he checked a lot of boxes for me. I think Kentucky got a steal in this young man. And I really think once he gets out of NC State, if Kentucky's offensive line can protect him and give him a chance to keep him clean, Kentucky may have got the steal out of the transfer portal in the SEC this year with this Devin Leary kid. I really like him as a quarterback. I don't know what the defensive situation will be. Kentucky's defense has always been pretty consistent, but I need them to be great. If they want to be able to stop Tennessee, I need them to be great if they want to be able to contend with Georgia late in the season. Those are going to be the difference makers, but I'm going with Devin Leary. I'm going with Devin Leary over Joe Milton.
Hey, and by the way, give Mark Stoops credit. It takes a great job to be the head coach in Kentucky for 11 seasons. He's starting there.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, you said you broke down Peyton Thorne. We're getting ready to see him in a Hugh Freeze offense. What did you see in Peyton Thorne?
He's got a better arm than Devin Leary. He's got an arm that just really jumps off on tape. But at the same time, he's got some bad habits. All right, he's always throwing off his back foot. He throws off his back foot a lot at Michigan State and not really stepping through the throw. Now, if it's there, he knows where to go with it. He drops back. I'm looking to my left. He knows where to go with it, and he sees it. He throws it. It's accurate. It's on time. It's good. But the moment he looks there, it's not there, all of a sudden things start to happen, and he does not create well after his first initial look is taken away. He's a one-sided quarterback, which means if I'm a safety, he drops back. He looks to his right. I'm already ready to go that way. He's not going to make it all the way back to the other side of the field like Devin Leary will. Well, now Devin Leary's in the middle of, he looks right. You got to stay in the middle of the field. Little things like that are what I look for because those are my tips and keys as a safety where I can go and make my play at. So Peyton Thorne doesn't get to the other side of the field, so that's a knock in his book. And also, when he feels pressure, he's always trying to fade away from it and not just stand down there. Look, and take the hit and deliver the throw. His accuracy really goes down because of the pressure. And look, you got to understand, Peyton, that's part of your job, bro. That's why you get all the praise when you throw a 4-yard touchdown for the game winner. Everybody loves the quarterback then. All right, you got to stand in there, deliver the ball while you're getting hit. He's got to improve in that area for me. When I see Peyton Thorne and his breakdown, it lets me know that Robbie Ashford has a place in this offense.
Interesting. On the other side of the state, as you go here, Kevin Still. We've talked so much about quarterback and receiver at Alabama and offensive line. Kevin Still takes over that defense. You've heard the same stuff we've heard from scrimmages, that it does look like their defense has a little edge back to them. What is your expectation for Alabama's defense Saturday night against Middle?
So I have no expectations. This is where I'm at now in my life, guys. I have zero expectations. So I'm only I'm only going to tell you what I see. And so what I see is this. I see Alabama from last year. They did not cause enough turnovers and create opportunities for their offense to get on short fields. That's number one. That has to change if Alabama wants to be great this year. And number two, they need to put hands on people and whoop people up front. And if they do that, they got a chance. But if you don't whoop people up front and look like the more physical, dominating team that we saw Alabama in the early 2010s, then they're going to look very much so the same. But I think this team has a personality in their DNA, because a year to year can change, right? That they want to be a more physical team. That's what they're talking about on the offensive line. That's all they're talking about on the offense. We're going to run the rock. We're going to bloody noses. And so it's kind of got to match on the other side if this Alabama team wants to achieve what they want to. And we're going to see it. We're going to see this Saturday what this team's going to look like. I know we all anticipate, but it still has to go out there and prove it. I think Kevin Steele will be able to try and slow things down. And my only knock on Pete Golding was that sometimes I thought they were doing too much. Like, if you got Dallas Turner and Will Anderson, like, I don't need to put them in stunts and all this other stuff. Dude, I just need to green light these dudes and go whoop somebody and go make a play. Like, they're going to get paid on Sundays to just line up and go beat the guy in front of them. They're not going to have to use all these moves to just go get a sack. And so if that's true, then why are we doing it to them? We should just let them go play and go hunt the quarterback. And if they did that more, they maybe have more sacks or more numbers. Because Dallas Turner, everybody's told me he's great. He had a really good freshman year, but he didn't put up no numbers last year. So that has to improve if he wants to be a first-round pick.
All right, South Dakota, Missouri tonight, SEC Network. See Harp and the gang. Before that, he will be with us every single Wednesday, schedule permitting at 9:25. He'll have some travel, but we'll do our very best to keep it right here at this time. Harp, enjoy the game tonight.
Thursday. Huh? You said Wednesday.
What did I say, Wednesday?
Yep.
Harp, you're every Thursday at 9:25. You know that, right?
I am here every Thursday. I'm correcting you.
I know. I need it.
I just wanted to let you get. I mean, I'm over here in Missouri. This is my first time here, guys. It was I had a guy on the golf course yesterday come up to me. He's like, "Hey, are you Roland Harper?" I'm like, "No, I don't. I don't know who that is."
Roland Harper.
Yeah, Roland. It's he's like the guy from the SEC. You look just like him or his cousin. I'm like, yeah. I corrected him. It's all good. But I played golf, and it was good yesterday. Missouri's treating me nice.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, you'll see it tonight, and then every Thursday at 9:25. God, I have screwed that up. Roman, thank you, man. Enjoy the game.
Appreciate it, fellas. Y'all be good. I'll see y'all soon.
All right, buddy. Take care. Harp with us each week, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round. Hey, listen, you're playing that parlay, a 3-leg parlay there at MyBookie.ag. You hit those first 2 legs, you're like, boy, I do not want to sweat out a late-night San Diego State cover. You just cash out right there at MyBookie.ag. Where else are you going to get that, right? Cash out those 2 legs. You can play with that money elsewhere. And MyBookie.ag, code next round. When you use next round, you get a deposit bonus and for a limited time, a free chip to use the MyBookie Casino. Games kick tonight. Go to lanceslock.com. See the 3 games he likes tonight. Take them over to MyBookie.ag. Use code next round. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. MyBookie.ag, code next round.
Vulcan Tire and Automotive Chat Room, Michael. Suttles discusses how if we don't bully on both sides of the ball, we have a problem. That's in Bama and Bourbon on the Roll Tide pods of Disrupt Media. Troy, Auburn fan. Jalen Hurts is another one that's impossible to dislike. Just pisses me off. He likes Roman a lot. We do too. By the way, all of you guys talking about just letting the green light. Let the 5 stars and 4 stars play. Don't bog it down with schemes and stuff. That's what Kevin Steele's known for, letting the players hunt. We'll see if Alabama gets a chance to do that a little bit more defensively this year. One more thing to do in this segment right after LT tells us about New York Butcher Shop.
The New York Butcher Shop. Imagine this. You're heading home, long day at work. You want to watch Florida, Utah, Nebraska, Minnesota, maybe even South Dakota, Missouri. Pull over, pick up some steaks at one of those 2 great locations of the New York Butcher Shop, Highway 119 in Greystone, the original Cahaba Heights. You can pick up the finest and certified Angus prime beef steaks, burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, all natural chicken cut to order just for you with a great selection of fine wines and desserts. New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Trip, that's why we don't do depth charts. We don't release them anyway to you guys in the media because you guys overreact to those things. Absolutely.
Oh, I fumbled for sure.
Okay, Rockstar's 4 downs in the next segment. Real quickly here, can anybody tell me what JT Daniels is doing with his life right now?
JT Daniels is working on a dude ranch.
Yeah, I'm going to say he is selling cars for a Dodge dealership.
Dodge dealership. Back row, would you believe me if I told you JT Daniels is getting ready to quarterback this weekend against Alabama's Week 2 opponent, Texas, that he's the starting quarterback at Rice? Am I wrong about this?
No, I did not know that.
Is JT Daniels the starting quarterback at Rice?
I mean, it was not going to shock me.
Check that for me. We'll look on the other side when we come back, see if I got that right. The show being brought to you by Hemp Hill. For all your heating, cooling, and plumbing needs, LT, it's our friends at Hemp Hill. JT Daniels, is he at Rice? Is he playing this weekend? Am I right about that? We'll find out when we come back and do Rockstar's 4 Downs. What about Hemp Hill?
Yeah, 0% for 60 months for qualified customers, plus free 10-year labor warranty. When you mention the next round, call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Hemp Hill today, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour. 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round hosts a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, presented by Redmont Vodka. LT has in-depth conversations with personalities like Clay Travis and Taylor Hicks. Find those podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple and Spotify. And remember to like and subscribe.
You've heard us rave about our friends at Legacy. Now I want to tell you about their everyday checking. How about this? No monthly fees, no minimum balance. One of the great perks, get paid 2 days early with direct deposit, instant issue debit cards. And there are some additional perks on top of that with the digital banking app. Absolutely love checking that. The official credit union of UAB, our friends at Legacy, dedicated service to education and healthcare industries for more than 60 years.
Start your day online at nextroundlive.com. Get all the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. And it's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
We've partnered with Who Is Coffee to create the Next Round blend. Available in light, medium, and dark roast. 100% Arabica beans. Specialty coffee roasted on demand. Available in whole bean or ground for drip pods. Espresso and coarse ground for French press. Go to nextround.store to get a link to pre-order today. Everyone that pre-orders will be entered to win a prize pack with coffees, shirts, hats, and tumblers. Nextround.store for the Next Round blend.
All right. Thank you, Karen, Rusty, Brody, Everybody who confirming to me, JT Daniels, and even Forrester has a picture. There he is. That's not Photoshop. That is JT Daniels in a Rice uniform, and everyone pointing out this is his third time to play in Austin with 3 different teams.
That is incredible. So USC, not in Austin, but he's played USC, West Virginia, Georgia. Who am I missing?
It was USC to Georgia to West Virginia to Rice.
To Rice, okay.
Meanwhile, Tez Walker can't get eligible at North Carolina.
It's insane. And you go back, and I remember hearing reports on how much JT was enjoying his time in Athens.
Apparently a little too much, huh?
And, the question to Kirby Smart forever was, when is JT Daniels going to play? When is JT Daniels going to play? And then Stetson Bennett becomes the most, decorated quarterback in Georgia history. Imagine if JT Daniels would have been healthy, would have been focused, and would have been that quarterback.
We may not have known Stetson Bennett.
Yeah. Apparently, he played every Friday night on Sorority Row. Let's do 4 downs. It's brought to you by our friends at Slice. 4 great locations. When you've got more JT Daniels years in college than you have Slice locations, you've done something.
Yeah, hey, 4 great locations. It's local pizza, local ingredients, original in Lakeview, one in Vestavia, Montevallo, now Crestline Park. Get in, check out the incredible atmosphere, a great beer selection. The Bajaya brothers, Chris and Jason, run it, continuing that legacy from the late Jeff Bajaya. Make sure you tell them the guys from the Next Round sent you.
First down.
What is something you will never care about?
Harry Potter.
Somebody told me the other day, who was it? Was it Lunsford that tried to sell me that Harry Potter is good? Somebody
I
tried
think the numbers would tell you it's pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of people like it.
She's made a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's
a good one, though, LT.
I've
just
never
no
tried to
interest.
get into it, and it's amazing because I think it's like there are 2 people. There's Harry Potter people, and there's not Harry Potter people.
Well, I think because the way that it was written, if you started reading the books when you were 9, you were maturing as Harry's maturing. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is like it gets more and more adult so if you didn't start it when you're 9, you're
you
not
know
gonna
what?
like
I'm
it.
old. If I would have been 9, that might have made sense. But I'll tell you this: I watched those, and I'll never forget. The presenting sponsor was Xerox, and J.R.R. Tolkien did the original Hobbit and then the Lord of the Rings, and they were animated and they were on primetime TV, and I loved them. And then I tried to go back and watch those movies, and I didn't like them at all.
24-hour news channels for me now. Never, ever will be interested in that ever again. Just will not waste my time. I've only got so many days and hours left on the earth. Will not turn them on.
Succession showed us the agendas that they roll out, right?
Absolutely.
They don't have agendas. Come on now.
On every
Give
side
the
of
news.
every side of the aisle. I mean, come on. Nope. Not wasting another second on it ever.
Mine is Star Wars. I just never care about Star. I mean, like I've had a whole lifetime to watch them. I've just not ever watched them. I don't think I'm going to jump on now.
Well, it is a big ass universe because they continue to roll
I
things
know.
out.
I'm not saying nobody cares about them. I'm just saying it's obvious I am not going to care about.
Was it the 70s?
Star Wars.
Was it the 70s when the first one came out?
I think
77.
77. Yeah.
I mean, I remember going to the theater and thinking to myself, okay, this is, it's pretty good in the theater.
It was so unique back then.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the second one was pretty good, too.
Yeah, I think I've watched parts of the original 3. I've never really watched the whole thing of any of them.
That's where I shut it down. And I think the new one, like the Phantom Menace or something, came back out in 99.
Yep.
Yeah.
And everybody was so excited about that. And I was like, I ain't doing it.
And by the way, R2-D2 and all that stuff, we've got, and I saw it on social media last night, like the Atlanta Falcons, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where the SEC, they have basically robot security guards now that walk around on the sidelines, and cameras and stuff will help security personnel. So that thing's walking around. I mean, basically R2-D2
All you gotta do is
doesn't mean crap to me anymore.
Throw a beer on it, it'll short out, right? The hell you say?
I think it's got a taser. It can shoot you.
Probably.
Second down.
That's a game changer if it does.
If you could only have one type of soup for the rest of your life, which would you choose?
Oh, that's tough for me.
I got to ask you, is chili considered a soup?
No, I don't think it's
Oh,
chili.
you don't think chili's a
Oh.
soup? What would you qualify chili as?
Chili? I think a chili
What's
is
a soup?
a thing on its own.
Nah, you got to go soup on chili.
Well,
It's 100%
let's
soup.
take chili off the table.
I would go Fiesta soup is
Me
what we
too.
call it
Taco
in my house.
soup. Yeah, it's taco soup at my
Fiesta.
house.
It's almost a chili-like thing.
It's a sure sign of fall. Like the first time
Yes.
Jennifer whips up that taco soup, I'm like, yep, it must be football season in fall. Love it.
And Maggie loves it because Jennifer usually whips it up first, and I come in one day and I'm like, oh, Jennifer cooked Brown the taco soup over the
But it's so easy to make. She ought to love it.
We
it's
do
the
it. I
easy-
mean, we do it all the time.
It's the easiest thing in
I
the world
like
to make.
tomato soup a lot, especially with a good grilled cheese.
Is gumbo soup?
Yeah, gumbo is 100% a soup. I mean, so
I'm
is
not the
chili,
soup
too.
official.
Yeah.
Let me tell you,
These are all soups.
That guy 7399 in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room, lobster bisque. That's a
Lobster
bisque,
bisque
though.
is good.
But is it a bisque or
Yeah,
is
it's
it
a soup.
Yeah, isn't bisque just French for soup?
Yep. These are all soups we're talking about. Every last one of them.
Potato cheese, beer potato cheese with bacon is really
See,
good.
I just don't eat a lot of soup. Really, the only soup I ever eat is my wife's taco soup. That's
Yeah.
about it for me.
But if you're throwing chili in,
Well, I hadn't had chili in a long time.
Down at the in Vestavia when we go to Eagles.
I've not had chili.
Diplomat.
I used to eat a lot of chili. I haven't had it in a long time.
I'm gonna, the first little hint of fall we get, I'm making my chili, and I can't wait for it. But I think I'd go chicken noodle soup, old school.
My daughter texted me from Chicago this morning. 61 degrees, she said.
What's she doing in Chicago?
She's on her way to typical American Airlines. Or Southwest.
She's going to Atlanta.
She's going to Raleigh, Durham to meet up with Maggie for a family wedding in D.C. this weekend. Family wedding, by the way. Who's not there in D.C. this weekend?
A bride.
You know why?
Why?
A weak one.
That's right.
Do you know who is getting married?
Yeah, it's my nephew.
Okay.
Well, good luck to him.
Third down.
50-50 proposition, by the way.
What's the best pet name you have heard?
Ladybird.
Wow.
I had a
You go Ladybird?
Yeah, Django was good too.
Yeah.
Django because always unchained. Was that the
Well, I
thought
don't know
behind
if
it?
that was it. I just thought it was a cool name for a dog.
I had a friend growing up that was an Alabama fan, and he had a goldfish, and he named it Eli Goldfish.
Oh my!
I kind of thought it was funny. Yeah.
I had a fraternity brother that literally had two piranhas, and he named one L and the other T.
Oh,
all right.
Well, that was the message there.
Does he watch you while you sleep?
No, he was a good dude. I'd say he listens to us. Kevin Cook in Jacksonville.
Oh, well,
I had
what
some
up, Kevin?
indicators that we didn't have a lot of stuff growing up
Right.
when I was little. But when my mom, my first dog was my granddad's. It was Blackjack. But first dog after Blackjack that my mom brought home, and Dad let her name it, and it was named Shambola.
Shambhala. 3 Dog Night.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that was it. Shambhala, not Shambola.
But that's how she pronounced it. I wonder if she just mispronounced
Well, I
it.
think she just country.
In a very
Shambhala.
She was reading it tag.
in a very Jim fashion. She mispronounced
I
it.
need honest Jim here, okay?
I never knew that. So Shambola is actually
Shambhala.
Shambhala.
3 Dog Night.
The 70s.
I'll have to go back and ask Mom that now.
In the mud puddle, be honest with me, did Shambola or Shambhala, was it on a chain with the doghouse next to it and never came inside?
Would come inside, but back then dogs ran free.
Did it have a doghouse?
Doghouse? We may have had a doghouse for Shambhala.
I mean, doghouses, that's gone the way of the payphone, right?
It really has. Well, most neighborhoods,
the covenants?
any neighborhood that has a covenant, I mean, you got to keep your animals inside.
Yeah. Your neighborhood is basically the guest house. It has to be that size, right?
Yeah, I don't think my neighborhood cares.
Well, do y'all have an HOA?
We do, but it's very loose.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's your problem.
I asked them if I could build a 100-foot wall, and they were like, if you want to.
It's a tall wall.
Oh, it's up to you, buddy.
And I'm going to make the people on the other side of it pay for it.
Fourth down.
What is a word that has been way overused lately?
Dude.
Whoa.
Dudes.
Talking about dudes?
Dudes.
Ball.
Dudes.
Hey, now, ball's one of our shows.
I've got it. And you're going to have one person's image pop to your mind right here. Collab.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that guy always wanted to collab.
I mean, when we were in Nashville, the number of people who wanted to collab were off the chain.
Hey, let's collab, man. I'm like, I don't really know what you want to do.
Yeah.
Stop, collaborate, and listen, man.
Yeah. By the way, collab would be a great name for a wine. Put that in the pipe and smoke it. Collab.
You would have to.
Do you have a 2019 collab?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's give him time to put it in his pipe, man.
Yeah.
I like
It's
that.
gonna
Got
take
any
me just a
matches?
little longer.
That is 4 Downs brought to you by Slice. I saw somebody who's going to name their dog Charles Barkley.
That's pretty good. I like that. I like that.
Maybe Charles Barkless.
My sister-in-law has 2 cats, brother and sister, and they're named Ellen and Clark Griswold.
Oh, that's good, too. I like that.
Yeah, I've got a friend. They've got a dog named Barkley after Charles Barkley.
I like that. I like fun animal names.
Daniel,
They ought to be fun.
Daniel, I understand. I'm hairless these days. So
These days.
thanks to our friends at Manscaped. I usually have a hat on to help Forster with the glare. We did readjust some lighting in here today to try to not blank out any cameras. It sucks getting old, but I am hairless, basically. I almost went full shave today.
Oh, boy.
But you know why I didn't? Maggie's out of town, so I was afraid I was going to miss a spot or cut my head.
Yeah, you didn't want those women to fall into sin while Maggie's out of town.
That's right. That's right. So I almost went full Rita today, but no, still buzzing it down.
Before the games tonight, how about this? Stop by one of those locations of Slice. 4 great locations: Montevallo, Crestline Park, Lakeview, and Vestavia. And the carry-out special, $75. You get 12 of the fire-baked wings. You get 2 of the specialty pizzas, half pan of the salad, only $75, 7 days a week. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
Pritchell, my buddy has a dog named Lily Nelson because it eats his weeds.
Oh, that's pretty good. Must be a female. Got to go with Lily instead of Willie.
Lily Nelson. All right, we're back in a moment on TNR. More football coming up on the other side. It is game night. We'll jump right back into the games when we come back, including a little breakdown on Nebraska and Minnesota. Can Matt Rule get started off with a W next?
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Are you faced with unexpected medical expenses? You want to update your backyard? Or you just want that dream vacation? Ryan Brown here from the Next Round. Legacy Credit Union can help with lifestyle loans. Legacy Lifestyle loans do not require collateral and they have affordable low rates. See more about Legacy Lifestyle loans online at legacycreditunion.com or simply stop by one of the 9 branches in the greater Birmingham area. Legacy, the official credit union of UAB.
You hear a lot of interesting phrases while playing golf, like, I think you're on the beach, or the classic, you gotta hit it, Alice. One word you're sure to hear right now at Bentbrook Golf Club is wow. Brand new carts with complimentary GPS, and the bent grass greens are so consistent, you just might drain a few more putts, Alice. Tee it up and find out for yourself. Book around today at bentbrook.com or call 428-1999. It's better at Bentbrook.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation while sipping some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call. LT takes off the gloves for an in-depth conversation with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmond Vodka. Find those podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
There are so many things I love about walk-ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with walk-ons.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, so Brown has seen him. I've seen him. Forster has a picture. LT has yet to see the uniform Houston will wear at home versus UTSA this weekend. Really entertaining game. Unveil it for LT. Here we go, LT.
That is a good uni right there.
I don't like the helmet, though.
You don't?
Tribute to the Houston Oilers.
Yeah, I get that.
obviously.
The script part is what you don't like? What do you not
Yeah,
like?
I mean, I just would have put like a cougar print or something on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But to the color scheme, you're okay
Oh,
with
the
it.
color scheme's
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, so they're going right there with the tribute to the Love Ya Blues of the Houston Oilers with UTSA from down the road in San Antone coming up for that game, which is should be highlighted. Yeah, it's right there, 6 o'clock on FS1 on the TV sheet.
It's one of the best games we're going to have Saturday, I think.
Yeah, I talked about it
Hence
with
the underlined in magenta color on our TV sheet. Here.
On Spittin' Lugs yesterday, off-brands in the state of Texas. That's a big game. I mean, a couple of things. Dana Holgerson is on a hot seat after an 8-win season. He's replacing quarterback Clayton Tune is on to the Arizona Cardinals. And on the other side, UTSA's got virtually everyone coming back from a really good team
Was
last
that
year.
triple overtime in that game last year?
It was triple overtime.
In the Dome.
Houston ended up winning the game by 2.
Yeah, it was a fantastic game last year. I expect a whole lot out of that game.
Yeah, in the Alamo Dome. I don't think maybe did they ever tear down the Astrodome, or is it still like
I
for
think it's
trade
torn
shows
down.
and stuff?
Yeah, I think they tore it down. And obviously Houston has it on campus, but I think they tore the Astrodome down.
Yeah. Last I saw a couple of years ago, it was still up and they were doing trade shows in it because it shares the parking lot with where the national championship will be played this year. By the way, on the college football playoff, some news on that after I tell you about where to get your game day gears from the most famous store for all sororities in America. It's
That's
the
right.
Pants Store. The Pants Store. Auburn, Crestline, Hoover, Huntsville, Leeds, and Tuscaloosa. But online, as you watch us anywhere in America, on pantsstore.com, pantsstore.com. Alabama and Auburn game day polos, hats, and quarter zips there. You can choose from famous name brands like Gentile, Cutter and Buck, Antigua, Elephant Head, and Taylor and Mick. All right there. Ladies, look no further for your game day needs either. They've got the skirts, the rompers, the clear bags, the booties as well. Find any of your game day needs at pantsstore.com, pantsstore.com, or the 6 locations, Auburn, Crestline, Hoover, Huntsville, Leeds, and Tuscaloosa. The commissioners in college football, including the Pac-12 commissioner, this probably may be his last one to gather with these guys, they met to talk about the future of the college football playoff, the 12 teams next year and all that. There was some discussion about formatting 5+7, 5 auto bids and 7 away from the 6+6 right now that we'll have at least at this point next year. But they decided not to start any serious discussion about it or act on it until the dust settles in the ACC. They want to wait and see if they're going to add Cal and Stanford and SMU. The shootings at North Carolina that killed a faculty member has slowed that process down a little bit out of respect. But they said we didn't want to get into it and make a decision now until we see what the ACC is going to look like. They say until the dust settles is the way Bill Hancock described it in the ACC, and everyone assumed he was talking about adding teams. I wonder if it was the taking away of teams. They want to wait and see if the dust settles yet.
I guess it could go either way.
Yeah.
I mean, and essentially, if you're seeing the way the dust settles in the ACC, you're also seeing the way it settles in the Pac-12, potentially, if they go get some of those Pac-12 teams.
Yeah, I think that's more important is people talk about have 5 automatic qualifiers from the Power 5. Well, the Power 5 is not going to exist, so you got to make sure Pac-12 is really gone.
Yeah.
I don't know why the ACC has anything to do with this, with the additions of Cal, Stanford, and SMU.
Well, that's why I bring up the possibility of the ACC losing teams, because it's 6+6 now, so you have one place for the group of 5. Everyone assumes with the Pac-12 going away, it's going to be 5+7, 5 automatic bids, the 4 Power 5 conferences, and a group of 5. But what if the ACC all of a sudden implodes? Do you really want to go ahead and lock into a long-term 5+7 deal when really maybe you're only going to have 3 Power 5 conferences?
Which is why Tripp says what I've said all along, just take the top 12.
Yeah.
You have way overthought this on all these auto bids. Just take the top 12 and be done with it. It's the easiest way to do it. By the way, it looks like SMU's trying to buy their way into the ACC. Did you see that report?
Oh, yeah, Power Boosters.
Power Boosters have come up and said, what's the check need to be to get us in?
Yeah.
To the point that the American is already having to release a statement like, we'll play with an odd amount of teams. You know, that's not a big deal. We can work around this.
They have a contingency plans on to play with odd teams, and Oresco says, or maybe add new members.
That's right.
And and he said yesterday, I was listening on Sirius XM after they were leaving their meetings. Oresco is very adamant. You know, people are making like making it sound like Oregon State and Washington State doesn't have a home. He says that's not the case. They've got places to go. They just don't want to choose where to go yet. So he made it sound like the American could add Oregon State, Washington State. That they would be in the mix.
That's some expensive travel for the American.
How weird would it be for UAB and Washington State to be in the same conference?
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, back to SMU. I don't have a problem with them buying their way in.
I don't either. That's the way business is done.
I mean, technically, they were already offering to buy their way in by not taking any money for 7. Right. But now, not taking any media rights deals for 7 years. And then paying as well.
Yeah, they're not good negotiators, or they just didn't have a chance in hell. But to go from, hey, we won't take any of your money to we'll pay you money. But again, I mean, you're paying for players now. If you want to be relevant and you want to be around and look, and that is it's a small fan base, proud fan base. It's got a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Got no problem with it.
Yeah. So, and I think it's a good product, and I think it would be an addition to the ACC. So we'll see how they manage this, what they do, what Florida State does moving forward. But we got games on the field tonight. Let's jump into the conversation. We've already talked Florida and Utah. We'll get into some of the other games right after LT tells us about our friends at Hydra Live.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. 2 great locations, the newest in Greystone, right there at the corner of Highway 119 at Doug Baker Boulevard, one in Homewood. They're open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you can't make it to Hydra Live, not a big deal. Nurse can actually come to your home or business. For more information, go to hydralifetherapy.com. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Hydra Life Therapy. And remember at checkout, mention Next Round. If you mention Next Round, you're going to get 20% off any of those great services. It's all from our friends at Hydra Life.
Okay, some quick thoughts here as we bounce around this, the games that are going on tonight. But keep in mind here locally in our market, Shorter in Sanford tonight at 6 o'clock, starting Sanford season after a Final Four, plus UAB down at Protective Stadium, North Carolina A&T for that one at 7 o'clock. Right out of the gate at 6 on FS1, Kent State and UCF. Seriously, what is your expectations for Gus's team this year? Not tonight specifically, but this year his first in the Big 12. Bottom half, middle of the pack, top half of the Big 12. Where do you cycle in? Where do you blend in this UCF roster?
John Rice Plumlee coming back is very dynamic. We know that.
Absolutely.
And I think they're going to put up a lot of points this year. Kind of like Florida, I could see them all over the board. I don't see them bottom half, though, or bottom third, I should say. I could see them middle of the pack. I could see them be a surprise, win 8 or 9 games.
What if Houston upsets UTSA? Because Houston also one of those teams going to the Big 12, and I sort of shuffled them down to the bottom of the Big 12. But a win over UTSA this weekend sort of changed my perspective of Houston a little bit.
It's not going to be really an upset. They're at home, and they're only catching 1 point.
That is crazy, though, that they're at home as a Big 12 team catching a point.
Okay, but let me put
it. Texas San Antonio's a better team.
Well, they are, but I mean, that's what's crazy about it.
That's right. It's a fishy line because you and I had UTSA in well into our top 25.
Yeah, but again, I know you think they're overhyped, but nobody else. I look at Vegas win totals. There were 7 or 8 Group 5 teams that had more win total or a higher win total than UTSA.
Yeah, I mean, this is only an upset because of history of program, right? I mean, UTSA is the better team. If Houston wins, it's only an upset, or if UTSA wins, it's only an upset because of history of the program. I fully expect UTSA to win this game.
Spit and Lugs yesterday, Tom Luganbill said evenly matched teams.
Yeah,
I think so.
Well, see, that's not – I mean, if we talk about UTSA going in and possibly having a chance to beat Tennessee coming up on the schedule, that doesn't make sense to me because I picture Houston being way down in the Big 12. Do you guys not?
I think they will be this year. I mean, it seems like a foregone conclusion that Dana Holgerson's going to lose his job. They want to start from scratch in the Big 12 with a new head coach. I mean, their win total is low. It's like 4.5 or 5.
Yeah, so this stuff isn't adding up to me. You guys are telling me that UTSA and Houston are even teams, but yet you guys are leaving open the possibility of UTSA playing with Tennessee and Knoxville?
I've never said that. I do think it's a more difficult out-of-conference game for them than Virginia will be Saturday. I said that yesterday. I mean, I don't think it's a game it's a layup game for Tennessee, but Tennessee's going to be a 14-point favorite in that game probably.
If UTSA wins the game, and they look pretty good.
Just make them both undefeated at that point.
Let's say that Joe Mountain's a little inconsistent against Virginia. Tennessee still wins that game by 21. I mean, it could be around 10. I think 14 is probably more.
I mean, you
more
would
so
be
the
talking
number.
about a 2-touchdown underdog winning the game or causing problems for Tennessee. I don't think UTSA can do that. I think Tennessee will beat UTSA. But I think them and Houston are even teams.
Okay, in the Vulcan Tire and Automotive chat room, Josh says we all know Gus is going to go 8-4. If he does go 8-4, which is always the Gus joke,
It's not bad.
That's a good year.
Yeah. First year in the Big 12, absolutely.
In a very competitive conference.
Yeah.
Very competitive conference. That's the first game. Elon, Wake Forest on the ACC network. NC State, UConn could have some interest there. But Nebraska, Minnesota, other than the Florida-Utah game, is the juicy one tonight. Mainly because Matt Rule is taking over at Nebraska. We love Matt Rule, Scott Satterfield, that coaching staff there in Lincoln. And there's a great tradition with Nebraska. But this Nebraska roster isn't as bad as the roster he took over at Temple or at Baylor compared to their competition, right? It's not as big of a rebuild as some of the rebuilds he's taken over.
It's the best job he's ever taken.
Right.
And I might I don't guess I can include Carolina in that, can I? I mean, is this a better situation? I'm not talking about do you want to be an NFL coach, college coach. I'm just talking about closer to winning.
I understand what you're saying. Compared to the other talent he's playing, Carolina seemed because he didn't really have a quarterback.
That's right. He didn't have a dog in Carolina. Now,
well, guess what? He doesn't have a quarterback here.
Well, he doesn't. But I'm just telling you, the
Yeah.
best job he's had in college football is this job. He took over Temple. They were awful. He took over Baylor. They were close to the death penalty. This is the best situation he's ever taken over.
But I don't know what to expect. Is this Michigan State from 2021? Because 60, I said 63 new faces on that roster. We had Joel Klatt said 68. Anyway, it's a shit ton of new faces on that roster. How they come together and gel. And then more importantly, Jeff Sims has got a ton of upside physically, but it just hasn't come together.
Jeff Sims reminds me, and there's a handful of quarterbacks, but Robbie Ashford comes to mind. Like, Robbie would make some wow plays last year when he was at Auburn. And then there would be some you're like, oh.
I remember watching Jeff Sims' first action for Georgia Tech and thinking they were losing the game. And I want to say they were playing Clemson maybe.
It was.
But I remember thinking, well, they found a quarterback.
It was Florida State, actually.
Was it Florida State? Mm-hmm. They were losing the game. And I remember thinking, they're losing this game, but they found their quarterback.
He looked the part in that
early,
game.
Yeah.
But then it was like this. Yep. And on the other side, I mean, we're talking about P.J. Fleck. I know nobody likes P.J. Fleck. But in 6 seasons at Minnesota, he has won 9 or more games 3 times.
Yeah, that's pretty good at Minnesota.
Including 9-4 last year. They're breaking in a new quarterback that did start 5 games. Good luck with his name. Some Greek kid. I can't really pronounce it. But, I mean, they're always a solid squad.
Yeah, Minnesota tonight, a touchdown favorite at home. Good atmosphere for a game. Hopefully the weather is really good. Maybe a little crisp in the air would be fantastic. Vol fan 205, Tennessee fan, as it says in the name. To be honest, I'm more worried about UConn than I am UTSA. Well, a Jim Morris team in action tonight as well against NC State. Overachieved last year, but for some reason people are not expecting the same. They're on people's radar now. They're not going to be wowed by what they did last year again this year.
Well, your starting quarterback is a transfer that started 4 years at Maine. So we'll see how he's able to do against this Wolfpack defense. Again, Dave Duren's one of these solid coaches, much like P.J. Fleck. You almost expect 8 or 9 wins every year. And I think the big difference is going to be new offensive coordinator, who was the offensive coordinator 2 years ago at Virginia, reuniting with Brennan Armstrong. Brennan Armstrong's production cut in half last year. You go back to 2021, almost 4,500 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Last year, 2,200 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. I mean, it was night and day seasons. And if Brennan Armstrong can capture the magic he had before, NC State will be a difficult out this year.
To his point about UConn, though, it does fall in a weird place for Tennessee. It's their homecoming game, and it falls in this stretch, hosting A&M, at Bama, at Kentucky, UConn, at Missouri, and hosting Georgia.
We've got a great clapback right after LT tells us about Dr. B and another game this weekend. In fact, I can't remember if Brown made it his sneaky good game or his upset alert, but we'll talk about it after LT tells us about Dr. B.
Dr. B offering that Sensus transdermal infuser. This enables Dr. B to get various medicines and therapies into the scalp where the hair follicles are without using any injections. This is revolutionary, as Dr. B can pinpoint delivery of a patient's genetically specific products without any needles. T3hair.net for more information. Again, My hair started to thin out. I asked around. Dr. Beckenstein is the name. Everyone said you need to go see. Went, got my consultation. Since day one, my hair has more than doubled in thickness. Make the phone call that I made, 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
That's your first meeting back in the day with Dr. B right there. I always love him and appreciate his support so much. Happening this weekend, really entertaining football game. South Alabama in New Orleans to play Tulane. Forrester has the picture that we got ready for you of the South Alabama helmet. There you go. On the back of it, you can see it. Home of Mardi Gras. And it's a special helmet decal, which includes the Mardi Gras emblem and around the jaguar on the side of the helmet. As it's a little Mardi Gras trolling between the two cities that make a lot of money off of Mardi Gras. But the original home, the first place that Mardi Gras was celebrated was Mobile, Alabama.
And I can tell you, I went for the first time this February. They take great pride in that they invented Mardi Gras. They like to let you know that Mobile invented it. New Orleans may have claimed it and maybe does it better, but Mobile invented it. And this is interesting trolling when you're going to Tulane, and you got that on the back of your helmet.
Yeah, you have an interesting logo on the side with sort of the Mardi Gras face sort of split in half with a jaguar in the middle. Really a cool-looking helmet. It reminds me a little bit of the London Monarchs back in one of those fly-by-night leagues back in the day. A little flavor on the side.
NFL Europe.
If we were doing our show based in Kansas City, this would have been a sneaky good game.
What would have been?
Nobody gives South Alabama any credit.
It was my sneaky good game yesterday, yeah.
Well, I'm saying for all of us.
Yeah.
We across the board,
yeah.
Everybody, because it's in-state. People know how good South Alabama can be. I mean, we're talking about 12-win Tulane team, arguably the best finish they had in 100 years of football, and a 10-win South Alabama team, which might be better than Tulane this year. You know, Luganville pointed this out to me yesterday. Tulane is replacing offensive, defensive, and special teams coordinators.
Yeah, they got head coach and quarterback back, which is why people think they can be good again this year. But you're right, they are replacing a lot at some of those other places.
And Ty Spears, probably their best player, onto the NFL.
Absolutely. Show always brought to you from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studio by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. When we come back, you'll hear from Hugh Freeze about the opener, his first one at Jordan-Hare Stadium coming up this weekend, and a little bit more from maybe the nation's best running back. And I'll ask these guys this question. How many new offensive coordinators are in the SEC? The answer when we come back on TNR.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, brombergs.com.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and our entire Double Down Media podcast family, all at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
It's college football time in Alabama. This is Congressman Robert Adderholt. I grew up an Alabama fan, Roll Tide, but my wife, Caroline, grew up an Auburn fan, War Eagle. But no matter who you pull for, whether it's the Lions of the University of North Alabama or the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State or any other school in between, I want to wish all the players, the coaches, and especially the fans another great college football season here in Alabama. I'm Robert Adderholt, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Adderholt for Congress.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast. The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast like Bama and Bourbon, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Back with you on the next round. Show being brought to you, Brownie, by JohnsonRVCenter.com. A lot of people hitting the road for football season. Johnson RV Center can do it and help you out.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman. 334 in Decatur is where you go for Johnston RV Center. You might be asking yourself right now, what is the number one selling RV brand in America? The answer, my friends, would be Cherokee. That is number one. You then would say, well, what about Alabama? That is Cherokee, my friends. And you say, wow, if that's number one selling in America and Alabama, what would be the top place I could get them? Johnston RV Center. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Cherokee Gray Wolf, the Alpha Wolf, fifth wheels like the Cherokee Arctic Wolf, toy haulers like the Wolf Pack, and payments starting as low as $199 a month. They got a lifetime warranty as well on all new campers and any used camper under 2 years old or newer. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Buster Olney in our final hour, coming up at the top of the hour. Dan Orlovsky to end the show as well. We'll have our stock report, our spotlight in the final hour as well. But right now, how many new offensive coordinators in the SEC?
I didn't look, but I think 8.
Brown?
I would say 6. I know, obviously, you got Tommy Rees, Mike Bobo, and Dowell Loggins right offhand. And Liam Cohen, there's 4.
I will tell you quickly, LT's a lot closer than you.
Okay, so it's more than 8. Phillip Montgomery.
10. Tommy Rees, both of them are in our state.
10 out of 14.
10 out of 14.
That's crazy.
New offensive coordinators. Georgia, even. New offensive coordinators.
Oh, you said Bobo.
I said Bobo, yeah.
But if you look, and Connor O'Gara, we're about to do a different story from Connor here on Chaos Scenarios from earlier in the week. But today he points out, for you SEC fans, don't overreact to your new offensive coordinators because all 10 of them play nobody this weekend, except for South Carolina and North Carolina.
Yeah.
And North Carolina's defense wasn't in the top 50 last year, so you may not even get a good gauge on how good he's going to be either. Good or bad, don't overreact to any of these new offensive coordinators just because of the week 1 matchups this weekend. For instance, like Tommy Rees in Tuscaloosa. If I asked you, do you think you'll get a full picture of how Tommy Rees will call a game in this game or in week 2 against Texas?
I would go more week 2. I think this week is about, hey, get these guys out on the field, these quarterbacks, and let's see who actually has command of the offense, who's not making mistakes, who that leader is on this team. So I think it's more about balancing and getting the right amount of reps for 3, maybe even 4 guys.
But I will say, if you've got a key 4th and 2, 3rd and 3, not key because it's Middle Tennessee, but with ones on the field, if you got a 4th and 2, 3rd and 3, I think you'll tip your hand on the way Tommy Rees thinks he can pick that up moving forward, because I think he would want to see, if I can't pick it up against Middle Tennessee running the football, I'm probably not going to get it against Texas running the football.
You just want to establish the mentality.
That's right. Yeah.
This is what we're going to be this year. We're going to run it. It's 3rd and short.
Yeah, this is a run play for us.
We're going to run it. 3rd and 3 last year, we were throwing it.
Yeah.
3rd and 3 this year, We're going to run the damn
so
ball.
I think you'll see just his mental approach on stuff like that. And, again, if he can't get it done against Middle Tennessee, chances are you're not getting it done against Texas and the SEC.
Yeah, new look down at Auburn as well with Hugh Freeze's offense. Montgomery calling it. Here is Hugh Freeze just talking about the fans' first chance really to get in game action to see a new team. He's talking about a little bit of pressure for that.
I've got more family coming than ever before, I think, and it's just it's going to be a magical experience, I know, in that stadium, provided that we play well. And that's the pressure or the anxiousness that you feel sitting in this chair, is just wanting to deliver. You know, the incredible fan base we have has, you know, welcomed us so much and bought season tickets, and we've expanded the stadium size, and it will be at capacity for Saturday. And you hear all those things, and you just so badly want to, you know, to deliver. And so hopefully we'll play well.
Yeah, I will tell you this, and it was in that news conference, and I didn't recognize the reporter's voice who asked the question, but it dawned on me the fact when he asked the question of Hugh, you guys work thousands of hours in preparation for basically 40 hours of football. Do you think about that? I mean, the hours these coaches, coaching staff, and players pour in to a season basically for 40 hours of action.
Yeah, I mean, that is it. When you think of it that way.
Same amount for the players, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Players, too, everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, the players, the weightlifting and everything goes in to one brief moment of time to actually do it. You work in January up until tonight to get ready for tonight, and it goes like that. It's 40 hours of
There's
football.
a reason why we work in January and February.
Spring.
No, but I mean, there's some
with them angels.
You know, there's some other, I guess, unique occupations. I mean, if you're in the military, you train forever,
and you may never see action.
Yeah, you might not.
But imagine that coach. You do all of that work, and you get to week one, and the opposing team, you fumble the opening kickoff, and the opposing team drives it right down the field the first two possessions. You're like, man, I've spent all summer working on this. We're 8 minutes into the game. I'm down 14-0 already.
Yeah.
My team's playing like crap.
Or my quarterback blows out his knee.
Yeah, my quarterback tears an ACL.
Or he throws up on his shoes, and you had to put in somebody who goes on to maybe be on the cover of Sports Illustrated this year for the Eagles. All right, let's do these wild scenarios. Possibly, this is the headline, 10 chaos scenarios that could actually happen in 2023 from our friend Connor O'Gara. We'll jump into that, brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill. Hemp Hill, for all your heating and cooling needs. One more time, LT.
Yeah, again, right now 0% for 60 months for qualified customers, plus free 10-year labor warranty when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a train for all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs. Call 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Just quick reactions to 10 chaos scenarios that could happen.
All right.
Number one, Texas beats Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
I don't see that as chaos.
Nope.
I mean, that's a imminently losable game for Alabama, and really, I mean, it doesn't impact the Nationals. If Alabama wins the rest of their games in the playoffs, obviously Texas then would have even a little cushion to lose a game and still be in the playoffs.
That's the biggest change there. Texas, all of a sudden, like Alabama has a lot of years, Texas all of a sudden has a game in pocket to play
That's
with.
no
That
doubt.
if they lose a regular season game and still win the Big 12 championship, because of that win in Tuscaloosa, they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, I didn't think last year's game in Austin was going to be close, and without Bryce Young, the best quarterback in Alabama history, they don't win that game.
Even then, if Quinn Ewers stays in with Bryce Young, they may not win it.
Yeah, to me, Texas is going to be better. I don't know what Alabama's getting at quarterback, so that's not going to surprise me at all.
Number two, Quinn Ewers and or Joe Milton struggle early on.
Quinn Ewers finished the season struggling. We've talked a lot about that. It's not going to surprise me if Joe Milton struggles a little bit. I mean, it's a guy that's taking over this offense for the first time. Now, it will surprise me if it's against Virginia because I just don't think they're very good.
Yeah, and I think Milton's a guy that we've seen before he presses.
Yeah.
And I could see him press a little bit. Quinn Ewers I don't think he's going to struggle against lower competition. Could struggle against Alabama.
Yeah, but that's the point. At any point this year, chaos scenario, because both of those situations, to Connor's point, You have quarterbacks that a lot of people are looking at right behind you in the depth chart.
Yeah.
Nico in Knoxville, Malik, and then Manning out in Austin. Texas is not back, and neither is Steve Sarkisian. That's a chaos scenario.
Well, that's chaos, yeah.
If Texas doesn't meet expectations this year, Sark could get fired.
He
hard,
could.
Hard to imagine Sark could lose his job before Jimbo, but that is realistic.
Yeah, I mean, talking to Brock Hewitt on Unlocked yesterday, he asked me, how many double-digit wins does Sarkisian have from Washington, USC, and Texas?
My guess would be 0.
I don't know.
It's 0.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's never had a double-digit win season because I was talking about the expectation needs to be.
Double-digit win season.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking in my head double-digit win games. I was like, surely he's beating
Yeah.
somebody
By
by
double
10
digits,
points
yeah.
or more.
No, but that's still hard to believe when you talk about really good schools that he's been the head coach at for multiple years at each of those places, and he's never won 10 games. 10 is not a high bar for a big-time
It
program.
is not. Now, imagine if that happens, Texas hiring a coach on their way into the SEC. What kind of names that job would attract, knowing it's about to be an SEC job?
Could get some good ones.
Yeah.
I wonder if this will happen like it has to Alabama over the years. Somebody upsets Georgia at home. Will they rush the field?
Oh, so Georgia loses a road game.
Yeah, Georgia loses a road game.
Yeah. Let me give you.
Will they rush the field because it has happened to Alabama? I mean, everywhere it happened. I mean, LSU and Tennessee both last year.
Yeah.
There's not one
field
place that will not rush the
Well, there's
field.
only 3 options. Keep in mind, Georgia only plays 3 true road games.
That's right.
Jordan-Hare Stadium, and I could see that scenario playing out in a heartbeat.
1,000%
It happens when they beat Alabama,
Yeah.
but if they beat Georgia early in the year like this,
I could see it.
Hugh Freeze's.
will
Yeah,
they
it's
keep
in
them off the
September.
field today?
I don't think so. Now, the one of them is Vanderbilt. There'll be more Georgia fans there, so nobody's rushing the field. And it's a construction site.
Be a few people,
So
but
it's hazardous.
The great video, whoever Vandy beat last year, the kids orderly walked down the staircase single file to come onto the field.
At Tennessee. Now, there's a scenario where that game is for the East, and that game. Now, if that game's for the East and Tennessee wins at 100%, they haven't been to Atlanta in a long time.
Yeah.
But then the other one's at Georgia Tech. Again, there'll be more Georgia fans at that game.
Yeah.
Tennessee, I will lean yes, but again, they had their big moment last year.
They did, but
they sort of did it last year.
Yeah, but imagine winning a game that gets you to Atlanta, and if they're going to Atlanta, they've got a shot at the college football playoff.
Yeah, good Bud Light poll question. As you see the Bud Light behind LT there, little T. We can throw that out there. If Georgia loses a road game, do they get the field rushed on them? It's been an Alabama thing for about a decade now. When Alabama loses, the field gets rushed on them.
Yeah, I think Vandy, I don't know. It's a active construction site. It'll be all Georgia fans. That's the one I don't really know about.
Yeah. What if Caleb Williams actually repeats his Heisman Trophy kind of round?
So hard to do, but boy, they're in the playoffs. They got a shot at the championship.
I had somebody this past weekend, and it was one of the studio shows. They were talking about, nobody's done it since Archie Griffin, but they believe this is the best opportunity anybody's ever had. Again, I thought Caleb looked okay. He had that one wow play on the busted play on the fumbled snap, but
you just got to be so much better than you were last year.
Yeah, I think it was 52 total touchdowns last year. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if he does, that means they're in the college football playoff.
Listen, I know that you think Texas A&M is going to be better. Heard Danny Cannell today on Sirius XM. He predicts Texas A&M to be the playoff team. Them and Georgia from the SEC. He thinks the Aggies win the West. But what loss, if it's not as good as you think, what loss does, as Connor puts it, does the coup begin behind the scenes to come up with $77 million to buy out Jimbo? Would it be a third loss? Would it be a fourth loss? Would it take a fifth loss to get all the money people starting to count dollars?
I just need to see the order these losses are coming in here. I mean,
if you had 2 losses in the month of September, they're going to start calculating. And there's 2 possible losses. Look, I don't think Miami beats them.
Nope.
I think they've got too much talent, but you're going on the road to Coral Gables in week 2, and then you end September with back-to-back home games against Auburn and Arkansas.
Yeah, but let me give you this. It's an admittedly a disastrous scenario. Okay, admittedly, and this is pure disaster. Yeah. But Lance just mentioned Auburn and Arkansas. You got Auburn, Arkansas, Alabama at Tennessee.
So if you're 4 losses by Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Well, but no, the reason I stopped there is there's a bye week. So after Tennessee, like if Tennessee caps off some sort of miserable stretch for them right there, you got the bye week. That's a time you could execute that.
Yeah, even 3-3 at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wonder, what's the old rap song, hip hop song, 5 on it? You start walking around.
If you can
I know
give
it's a drug song. I know it's drug related.
Yeah, this is about a little weed. If you can give me the name of the band.
I got 5 on it.
I've got 5 on it. You got 10 less.
Nobody raps whiter than I do, right?
I got 5.
I was just thinking. I can't. Well, hold on. God, I mean,
Starts with an L.
Starts with an L.
Then a U.
A U.
Then an N. Then an I.
Why don't you just spell it?
And then a Z. Luna's.
Oh, I would have never guessed that.
Guys,
you gave me every
ludicrous.
You gave me every letter, and I wouldn't have been able to guess on Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
I'd have had to pass to the next person.
Yeah, he was still waiting for a letter after the Z. Okay, what's next?
I'll buy a vowel. No. They'll start going, I got $5 million. I'll put $5 million on it. Yeah, that's what they would start doing.
Yeah, I mean, look, people still don't believe he can get fired. I disagree with that. I think this is the year for Bobby Petrino. He's got to do something special. Not Bobby Petrino. Look at me. He's already taken the program over.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I knew that's what had happened in your head.
Jimbo's a puppet. Bobby Petrino's really coaching. The last one, there's a couple others that includes LSU winning the SEC and going to the playoffs, and Florida State paying their grants of rights and heading to the Big Ten or the SEC. But the last one here is Dabo Swinney steps down at season's end. And Connor writes, I saved the juiciest one for last. I'm not saying I expect this to happen, he writes. I'm saying that if there's someone at the top of the sport who can make a surprise announcement that he's stepping down ahead of the new era that awaits, it's Dabo Swinney. It's not that he just resists the transfer portal and everything else that's going on, but with the ACC and the gap between what they're bringing in compared to the Big Ten and SEC, he says of all the top-tier coaches, the Kirby Smarts, the Nick Sabans of the world, he thinks Dabo Swinney could be the one that would pack up and go.
How would we remember Dabo Swinney, the legacy? Because it would be really strange. For a minute, he was viewed as 1A, 1B with Nick Saban, winning 2 or 3 national championships. There's 4 losable games on that schedule. And let's just say for whatever reason he went 9-3 in the regular season, he did retire. I mean, what is his legacy?
A 2-time national champion and
to taking a program that had never been to that height. Now, I know they won a national championship, but they were consistently one of the best programs in America.
I get it, but shaky early, and then it would be shaky late.
Lost a great one to Alabama, beat Alabama, lost to Alabama in the playoffs, and then beat Alabama to win national championships. That's a good run there. And I would say a lot of great coaches in history had the trajectory that Dabo Swinney had. I mean, not the greatest
Most
of
of them don't finish with a trajectory still.
Not the greatest of coaches, but the great ones had sort of the same trajectory.
But they were old.
I mean, Bear Bryant was shaky late.
I mean, that's the difference, and that's one of the reasons I don't see.
Dunaway, you can't grimace at that. He was. They were in the Liberty Bowl.
Oh yeah, he was shaky late.
78-79 national champions. 80 was unbeaten until late in the year.
Okay, and they lost to who?
And then 81-82.
Rewind. They lost to who in 80?
In 80, they lost to Notre Dame. And LSU, I think that was the only 2 losses.
When was that Mississippi State loss?
That was 80, Mississippi State.
Okay, so you start losing to Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And then what happened in 81? It started a little bit of downcline. 82, you freaking lose to Southern Miss at home. You're in the Liberty Bowl.
And it's over with. That's not a huge decline.
Dunaway, it was shaky late.
2-time national champions, and then 3 years later, he's retired.
Well, that's the same as Dabo. That's what
same
we're
as
talking
Dabo.
about.
Yeah.
But, again, the difference was Bear was old. Dabo's young, and that's what would be so surprising about this. Dabo's making too much money. He's building big-ass houses, castles and stuff. He's got to have his money.
Castle.
He's got a castle. Good
No, he does. He's got a huge house.
Sir Dabo Swinney.
Have you all seen the pictures of his house?
Yes, absolutely.
Rockstar's viewing menu every day brought to you by our friends at New Life Art. Tell us about New Life Art. Show us that great artwork. Put a frame on it and hang it in the Bryant Museum, I say.
Artist Daniel Moore has announced his next masterwork in oils. Legacy continues. The sequel to Moore's 1992 sold-out painting, The Crimson Legacy, features iconic moments and memorabilia from the last 30 seasons of Tide football. Don't miss your opportunity to own this lasting tribute, sure to be cherished by Bama fans for years to come. You can order right now, DanielMooreArt.com. That's DanielMooreArt.com.
7:10 on HDNet, you got the 1993 Sylvester Stallone classic Cliffhanger with, is it Michael Rooker? Hey, little brother.
Yeah, Michael Rooker, John Lithgow, and the Jeannie Turner, the chick from Northern Exposure.
Yep, had the short hair. That's a guilty pleasure for my use. Well, I haven't seen it in probably 15 years, but as a kid, I loved Cliffhanger.
Watched it with Jack a couple of years ago. It does not hold up at all.
He's scaling the mountain and it's freezing. Yeah. He's got just his T-shirt on. It's wet, sweat.
T-shirt with no sleeves.
No climbing gear either. He's just got to climb. And then I love these games with you guys. 5 p.m. on Showtime Women. It is a channel. We got a doubleheader for Leonardo DiCaprio. Which would you say?
Leo, I am going to go What is Eating Gilbert Grape and Titanic.
Ooh. I'm going to say Catch Me If You Can.
I was going to say that one.
And a total flip of the script, Shutter Island.
Ooh, not on Showtime Women. I think it's Titanic and Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can and The Aviator.
Oh, nothing speaks to female like Howard Hughes.
Yeah, that's a good-looking guy, man.
Boy, like Brown, you would hate The Aviator. It lasts like 5 hours.
I've seen part of The Aviator.
There's a lot of what they call dialogue, too.
Not a great movie,
There's
but
a script attached to it. It's really overrated.
That's what Rockstar is watching tonight, brought to you by our friends at New Life Art. Jason says, just tune in. Why is everyone dressed up? We have business to deal with later on today. Antonio says, let's say Jimbo and Bobby are successful this season. If it leads to Bobby getting a Power 5 or Group of 5 job as a head coach, what happens to Jimbo? He's right so back where it started from.
Yeah. Well, knowing him, he gets a massive contract extension. So
knowing how they spend that oil money. We're back in a second. One more segment to go before we talk baseball with Buster Olney. But you Braves fans know tonight you get a sneak peek of the Dodgers, what could be the NLCS this year. Dodgers hosting Braves tonight, late night in L.A. Baseball with Buster at the top. 1 hour from now, Dan Orlovsky on the show right here on TNR.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
The Next Round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel at Next Round Live and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's at Next Round Live on YouTube.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at Hydra Live Therapy. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, and boost your immune system, and more. If you mention the Next Round at checkout, save 20% off any service. You can join the IV League today. Members are rewarded with deep discounts. Make sure you ask about that. Hydra Life Therapy open 7 days a week. Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone. No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, we have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails. And don't forget about that 29-degree man-sized drafts. It's Twin Peaks at the Patton Creek Shopping Centers.
It's time for back to school again. Hi, this is Wes McClooney, owner of the New Balance Birmingham store. And we have all the New Balance shoes and apparel your kids need to keep them at their best this fall. We have the largest selection of New Balance shoes in Birmingham, including all the newest styles. And our fit specialists are trained in measuring growing feet. So here at the New Balance store, they'll get the perfect fit every time. Get ready for back to school now by shopping with us at the New Balance Birmingham store, located on Highway 280 next to Chick-fil-A.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
Rockstar, get cut 6 ready, because one guy thinks he's the best running back in America, and he may be right. Our friends at Wayne's want to remind you that right now we're celebrating 50 years of Wayne's. Isn't that amazing?
That
50
is.
years of Wayne's. Just a great company. And for the past 50 years, Wayne's Pest Control has been serving their communities by doing the things they love, providing world-class pest control and termite protection to those they care about the most. That's you, the customer. And they just want to say thank you. And we want to say congratulations to Wayne's while they're saying thank you to all of us, all the Wayne's customer. Visit callwaynes.com today. Callwaynes.com, and you get $50 off pest control or termite protection. $50 off those great services at callwaynes.com. So thank you, Wayne's, and thank you, customers, from our friends at Wayne's. Callwaynes.com, callwaynes.com. This is Alabama's own Quinshon Judkins, but he's the quarterback at Ole Miss.
He's a running back.
Excuse me, he's the running back at Ole Miss.
And it's Judkins.
Quinshon Judkins.
There you go.
There you go. Why don't you tell us when Roman's on? Here's Quinshon. Here's Quinshon talking about being the best running back in America.
Makes you the best running back in college football if you view yourself that way?
Yeah, definitely. I view myself as, the best running back and just being the best that I can be, honestly. But I feel that what separates me is just my overall game on my speed, my change of direction, how I can be used everywhere on the field, not only run around you, but also run through you as well. So it's just, just being able to do everything at my position and so forth as other positions too.
Maybe the best running back in the country last year, All-American preseason this year. You think he can back up last year's numbers?
If he stays healthy, yeah. I don't know why he can't. Lane Kiffin, the emphasis is running the football. Now, you do have a couple of versatile quarterbacks, and I think that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out and how that leads into who's starting the Tulane game. Because I think Jackson Dart is probably going to play a half. Spencer Sanders plays a half. But both those guys are really mobile. But Judkins probably did play like the best running back in football last year.
Blake Corum?
Yeah, well, let me take that back. You're right. Blake Corum before the injury.
Yeah.
Travion Henderson was banged up all year at Ohio State. Braylon Allen will be one of those guys at Wisconsin. But he's definitely a top 5 guy.
Yeah. I mean, 11th in yards per game last year, which is a lot in the SEC, obviously, 120 yards per game. I mean, to put that in perspective, Dwayne McBride at UAB was 155 a game. That led the country.
Yeah.
So 120 a game in the SEC. And you're right. If you want to be the best running back in the nation, Lane Kiffin's one of the guys you want to play for because he's committed to the run game.
And Daniel's right. Nick Singleton, Auburn saw him a little bit last year as a true freshman. Coming back to Penn State. Yeah, he's going to be a stud.
Yeah. And some of these guys, like Quinshon, like Singleton, they've got guys who are beside them, like Corum. They got guys who are beside them that when they get a breather, you're not losing a lot. They've got really good RB2s to go with them. There's depth in the running back room at Ole Miss as well. It is so weird to see ESPN in their opening day, college football starting tonight. They did a lot of their basically things you need to know for the season, that one big story, and I'm scrolling through it like top 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Alabama didn't have a player on it. Top 5 running backs. Alabama didn't have a player on it. Top 5 wide receivers. Alabama didn't have a player on it.
Well, they shouldn't.
I know. It's just weird not seeing Alabama players on any of those. There was J.C. Latham was on one, top 5, whatever.
Dallas Turner,
and Kool-Aid. That was it. There was not another Alabama player on any of those lists as you rolled through those, and it's just so weird with all the great recruiting success not to see Alabama have just riddled with players there. I mean,
what's even stranger is one other top 5 they might have been in was place kicker, which you are not used to seeing that in the Saban era.
Will Shipley, too.
Oh, running back.
I
Okay,
think you
back,
have to put him in the mix.
Yeah, I think you would. I think Blake Corum, Quinshon Judkins, Will Shipley, Singleton at Penn State, Rocket Sanders maybe at Arkansas.
Yeah. By the way, Shipley was number 1 on the ESPN list.
Yeah. Oh, I'm all right.
Again, I'm blown away that Travis Hunter was your first team all-purpose guy in front of Will Shipley.
A couple of non-sports things before we do a full hour of sports and trash in the final segment. A couple of weird things going on in the world. After Brownie tells us about Fu and You, our friends at Shannara Flooring.
Well, they helped Rockstar. Basically, Rockstar one day woke up and looked at the bonus room he had there, and he's like, "There's some crazy lady on a plane that's seen aliens, and she's buried underneath that floor right there. We gotta cover that up."
It's something like that.
Yeah, wasn't that what happened? Am I mistaken?
No, it's a little bit. It wasn't a spare room, but the carport was adjusted to a spare room and was not very usable, so we used it as storage. And we had a kid. We had a hard floor, so we decided to go to Fu and You and me to get some carpet on there so Cord could run around haywire pantless every day.
They did it for Rockstar, and Rockstar likes to run pantless on it too. He left that part out. They used to be Homewood Carpet and Flooring. That is what they used to be, but they are now Shannara Flooring. Same great people, though, like Fu and the crew there. Same great floors you get. Same tile that's the best around. Same best hardwoods, the best carpet, the best LVP, LVT, countertops, specialty flooring in all of Birmingham. It doesn't matter if you're residential or you're commercial. They do it all. ShannaraFlooring.com is the website. They helped Rockstar. They can help you. 205-518-6423. That's 205-518-6423. Or ShannaraFlooring.com. Fu and You. They can help make that residential or commercial space look the best it can with the best flooring from Shannara Flooring.
If you're following the U.S. Open in tennis, there's been a common complaint by some of the players who have had to play on court 17. You know, there's multiple courts, not a big stadium court, but court 17. And it just started earlier in this week from a female tennis player. Several others have, but a German tennis player, a male yesterday, made a comment about playing on court 17. He says, quote, "It smells like Snoop Dogg's living room." They've done they've had security out there. They can't find anybody smoking in the stadium, but it smells like pot so bad they almost canceled the matches on 17 yesterday. But he says literally that's all I smell as I was playing today. They think the wind was blowing correctly from Corona Park, which is right next door, blowing in so strongly.
Dude, I love it.
That's the only thing you can smell.
We're so ratchet here in the United States. Remember over at Wimbledon, they were bitching and making people, you can't open your champagne during matches. Now we got our weed blowing into the U.S. Open.
Smell is the ganja.
It's the U.S. Open, and some of those are at night going crazy. Burger King. I got a Burger King and a McDonald's thing from you from my newsletter this morning.
Hey, more calories in the Big Mac or the Whopper?
I'm going to say the Big Mac because here's why. Burger King's in court, federal court, tried to get it dismissed yesterday, this lawsuit against Burger King, and the judge says, no, you got to go to trial. The lawsuit says that the Whopper is actually 35% smaller than it's portrayed in ads and commercials.
Well, it's bigger than the Big Mac. And by the way, the Whopper does have more calories. And
I was surprised by
that,
that,
I think it's
too.
because all the mayonnaise they put on it.
Oh, I enjoyed the Whopper back in the day. What was it back in the day? Was it
flame broiled?
Five Whoppers for $5, I think.
Yeah, I think you could get that. Yeah,
I think that was the deal back in the 80s. It was 5 Whoppers for $5.
Could you eat 5?
No, but me and my buddy Shep Shady, fraternity brother.
Who got the odd number?
Probably me. I'm a chunky boy. He was an athlete.
Yeah, but none of these burgers are portrayed. If you look at a McDonald's commercial or a Burger King commercial, they all look different. Michael Douglas pointed out to us and walking down.
Yeah, very aggressively.
But both are smaller, and I do think the Big Mac is smaller than the Whopper.
And if you ever wonder why the McDonald's, and we got to get to Buster here, but real quickly, the McDonald's McFlurry machine is always broken. The people at iFixit actually bought one and figured out why it's always broken. Taylor Company, according to them, who made it to where the warning codes and codes that says something is wrong are so confusing and only can be reset by official Taylor Company maintenance workers.
Interesting, like an Apple phone.
And the cost, by the way, $315 for every 15 minutes that person is on your McDonald's site to repair it. So that's why your McDonald's McFlurry machine is always unplugged.
What greed.
That's what we call horse shit. What I would do, if I was McDonald's, I would just pull it out. Hey, we're not doing any more ice cream products.
We'll find somebody else to make a machine.
We're going to go soft serve and to create our own. That from my newsletter today. Buster only does baseball when we come back. Odie's, how was trivia last night?
Trivia was a lot of fun last night. My question, and I will throw it out to you. What came first, Cameron Diaz or Patagonia, the clothing?
Oh, I'm going to say Cameron is, she's hot. But I'm going to say you need the hot Patagonia on the mountains back in the day. I'm going to say Patagonia is older.
So we said it right here on the show. Cameron Diaz turned 51 yesterday, born in 1972. Patagonia actually celebrates 50 this year, 1973.
I'd have put him in the 60s.
Just a few of the little facts you learn when you come out to Odie's Team Trivia. Brown was there last night. Rocky was there last night. We had an incredible crowd, people eating that incredible food from Rodney Davis. He's been doing it for more than 3 decades. The burgers, the award-winning wings, delicious chili, by the way. 2 locations now. Not only the Crestline location that we do Odie's Team Trivia from, now Homewood right there on off of Broadway on Oxmoor Road. Stop in Birmingham Institution, Odie's Tavern.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
It's time to get out and enjoy the summer of 2023. Ocean City, Maryland, and your hotel family at Residence Inn by Marriott Ocean City is ready to welcome you. Kayak from our Bayside Beach, swim in the Atlantic, dine at our Bayview Bar and Grill, span the 2.5-mile-long Ocean City Boardwalk, and a lot more. See all this plus irresistible summer deals and packages online at residenceinnoc.com. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Do something different this summer. Residence Inn by Marriott Ocean City, Maryland.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Support the show and grab some great t-shirts and hoodies right now in the Next Round store. Buy the Alabama State Map shirts in your team's favorite colors, the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest, or Next Round flag shirts are also online now. Just go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store. The traditional Next Round logo shirts are there too. Buy them for yourself, or they make a great gift for someone else. And let us know what you'd like to see in the store coming up. Nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
You have all heard of Red Wing Shoes, but what is Red Wing Shoes? It's the place where men buy boots, plain and simple. Who are Red Wing's customers? They are construction workers, warehouse employees, college students, the guy that fixes your AC, the guy at the end of the bar, the IT guy. Red Wing is a father, Red Wing is a son, Red Wing is a cult following shared by all men. A classic, comfortable pair of cool boots with a story to tell. What's your Red Wing story? Red Wing Shoe Stores, located in Pelham and Trussville.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
New ice cold Coke Zero for the start of football tonight, and a huge series in Los Angeles. Braves and Dodgers. It can't be the World Series, but maybe the two best teams in baseball. We'll talk to Buster about that right now.
He is presented each week by MyBookie.ag. Code Next Round to get signed up at MyBookie.ag. Get that welcome bonus and a chip you can use in the MyBookie Casino for a limited time. They're at MyBookie.ag with code Next Round. Welcome in, Buster. How are you today?
I'm doing great, guys. Getting ready for waiver claim chaos here in the next hour and a half.
So I saw you tweet about that this morning, and you basically said some teams are their hands forced. They got to get involved in this. So walk us through why this is going to be chaotic and why some owners kind of have their hand forced here.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the clock here. In 57 minutes, or teams have 57 more minutes to place claims on all these players have been let loose into the waiver process, mostly the Angels. I mean, their owner, Artie Moreno, basically, he made his decision on Ohtani. He made his decision in terms of adding players before the deadline. It didn't go well. They've fallen out of contention. Him putting all these players on waivers is like a 10-year-old flipping a game board. And now all these guys are available to contending teams, and all they have to do to take them on is to be willing to pay the remaining salary. So Lucas Giolito, if you're looking for a starting pitcher, he's owed about $1.8 million for the rest of the year. If you need a center fielder, Harrison Bader, the Yankees, they have decided to take the same route. If you need a relief pitcher, Matt Moore, Hunter Renfroe. There are a lot of good players who are available right now who are going to change teams today. And all you have to do is to be willing to pay the remaining salary. And you know that their teams lined up. The Seattle Mariners, I expect, would love to have Harrison Bader. There are 3 or 4 teams that I've spoken with who would love to have relief pitching like Matt Moore. We'll see if they take him on. And on the other hand, there are going to be teams that are notoriously cheap in recent years. And you kind of wonder if they're like, oh, man, because they know if they don't put claims in on these players, then their fan base is going to be really unhappy. So the waiver claims have to be in 56 minutes, and then probably about 15 minutes after that, a waiver wire will be sent out to the respective teams with their individual information, and they're going to find out if they won these players. And within 4 or 5 minutes after that, you're going to start seeing tweets from reporters saying, this player landed here, this player landed here. There are just a lot of great players who are going to change hands. In fact, think about this. There are no limits on how many players you could take on. So in theory, the Cincinnati Reds were one of the teams at the front of the process, the Boston Red Sox. They could claim up to 6, 7, 8 players today if they wanted to turn over their roster. It's going to be fascinating to see how many teams actually take players on.
Wow. I didn't know this was happening.
I know. Buster alerted me to this morning with that tweet. And I'm like, okay.
Why are you not in studio? Why have we not interrupted programming?
So, Buster, you mentioned...
You notice he's shirt and tie. He's got to be ready. Yeah.
I've been on SportsCenter. That's what I was just talking about.
The Yankees have tapped out, and I got a text, and I don't know if there's any validity to this because... There's a lot of people that thought Derek Jeter did not do a good job when he was in Miami. But if Brian Cashman is out, somebody sent me, have you heard the rumor that Derek Jeter could take over as GM of the New York Yankees? Is that completely outlandish, or is that a possibility?
In the category of never say never, I'm not going to say it's completely outlandish, but I think it's 99.9% that they wouldn't even be thought about.
Okay.
Derek's great. His great failing in running the Marlins was he just didn't know many people. When he took over that job, he wasn't connected to front office types. And look, I mean, that's not surprising. He was a player his whole career. He didn't work in a front office. He didn't work as a scout. He didn't work as a coach, as a manager. So he didn't have that network. And so what he wound up leaning back on was all these people he knew from the Yankees organization, not surprisingly. And it didn't go well for him there. Brian Cashman's in year 1 of a 4-year deal. I don't think there's any chance that Hal Steinbrenner's thinking about changing him. The one scenario, which I'm kind of wondering about, that could develop with him, what happens if the ownership says, you know what, we're going to fire Aaron Boone? What would Brian Cashman's response be? He could, in theory, fall on his sword and say, look, if you're going to fire Aaron Boone, you should fire me too, because Brian knows this. If the Yankees let him go, he would have a job offer within seconds. He's incredibly respected within the industry, and I have no doubt that other teams would say, hey, we'd love to have you in our organization.
Cubs win the final 2 games against Milwaukee in a crucial series there. Firm in the wild card, trying to chase down the title. That Cubs team not going away. Could they be a player in this waiver thing you're talking about?
Yeah, 100%. Again, all these guys these are really good players. Like Lucas Giolito has had some great runs. He hasn't pitched well for the Angels per se, but Matt Moore, experienced left-handed reliever. You think the Houston Astros, who don't have a left-hander, wouldn't mind having him? Harrison Bader could potentially be a fit for the Cubs. He could platoon. He could play all 3 outfield spots. You remember the damage he did in the playoffs last year against the Astros. He kills left-handed pitching. So, yeah, I think the Cubs will be in. I think because the way this is done, and you guys know this, it goes the worst team has the first shot at every individual player based on record. And then it goes progressively behind that. And there's no limits to how many players a team could take on. So the Reds, among the contending teams, looked at probably have the first shot. The Marlins, I think, are 2. The Red Sox are 3. The Cubs are further down the list. So by the time they got, think of it like a pack of lions going after a wildebeest. By the time the Cubs get a shot at one of these players, the bones might be picked clean, and they may not actually be able to grab one.
Buster's analogy game is spot on today. There's 2 excellent analogies he's used. Buster Olney with us from ESPN. MyBookie.ag brings you Buster each week. Don't forget code NEXTROUND and sign on to get that welcome bonus. Plus, for a limited time, you can get that chip you can use there in the MyBookie casino. Dunaway mentioned it, Braves-Dodgers. In this series, do you think the top 4 contenders for NL MVP are playing in this series?
Yes, without a doubt. And it's been interesting. I'm sure you guys saw the news the other day that the betting odds of National League MVP has shifted. Mookie Betts is now the favorite over Ronald Acuna Jr., which I didn't think was possible 2 months ago. But Betts is going to wind up winning National League Player of the Month. He's batted, close to 450. And one thing that's going to work well for him in the voting is his defensive play. Acuna has the big advantage when you're talking about total hits and you're talking about stolen bases. He would be my vote for MVP. But there's a case there to be made for Mookie because he's got more home runs. He does more, he's hit for more power this year. And defensively, he's a plus in right field. He's a plus at second base significantly. He gives Dave Roberts, their manager, a ton of flexibility. And look, Ronald Acuna Jr. is not a bad outfielder. In fact, the other day before a Sunday night game, Gabe Kapler, the Giants manager, was talking him up, saying this is someone who, in his eyes, could be an impact center fielder. But I think Mookie's a better defender, and that's going to play well for him, which is why I think down the stretch, if Ronald's going to win the MVP in the National League, he's got to hit more home runs.
Look, I know it's always nice to have run support, and you're going to get that when you pitch for the Dodgers. But Lance Lynn coming from the White Sox, what he's been able to do for the Dodgers, and he's back on the hill tonight going against Strider. What's been the transformation from Lance Lynn looking like the old school Lance Lynn?
Yeah, and the Dodgers, like the Astros, when they bring in a pitcher, they'll have specific information they'll give to that guy. Hey, we think you should throw more fastballs. And from what I understand, that's part of the message has been to Lance Lynn. Lance is experienced, so there's some comfort level there. But let's face it, with Lance and I think with other guys who left the White Sox, you go from being in a place where the players clearly were unhappy. And we can have a really interesting conversation about whether or not the players should blame themselves for that atmosphere developing. But either way, it was awful in Chicago. He goes to the Dodgers, this great group of guys, great clubhouse culture. And I think he's happy as a competitor. And I think that's showing in his performance. Dave Roberts, their manager, mentioned to me how much he loves Lance, how much he's fit in since he joined that team.
Little kid growing up, when I'd watch games at Yankee Stadiums between innings, I'd see the security people, the New York PD, walk out and look up into the stands. And I always thought, being from the country in Alabama, it must be rough in New York City. They got those police officers there. But after what happened to Acuna the other night, what is Major League Baseball thinking about? Is there a heightened conversation now about player safety while they're on the field?
There is, and you know, your example of the Yankees is interesting. When I covered the Yankees, it was always interesting to see the reaction of opposing writers, or writers from other cities, where they would see when a fan ran on the field, the Yankee Stadium security, it was like they let loose Lawrence Taylors all over the place. The way that they made tackles and took these guys down. In San Diego, another team I covered, it was like they went out and almost like, hey, can you please just walk off quietly? And they sort of try to coax them. In Yankee Stadium, they took them down hard. And look, Major League Baseball, Player Association, they're talking about this. In the end, they can't wholly protect these guys from players or from fans running onto the field, which is why I do think that they should ask themselves the question, if this happens, what should we do? I'm not someone who's out there looking for a fight, but I think they should go out there. All bets are off. Tasers, take them down. Make it be something that people pay attention to, because that was scary the other day with Ronald Acuna Jr. Yep. You had one fan reach him, arms around him. You don't know what his intent was.
That's right.
You don't know what he's carrying out there with him. And if you dismiss that and say, well, it's not a big deal. Well, how about the name Monica Seles, a tennis player who was sitting in her chair in a tennis match and a fan stabbed her from behind? Who knew what that fan had in mind the other day? And I don't know if you guys saw the information, but that night they were charged with trespassing, which you know and I know is going to turn out to be not that big of a deal. It should be a big deal to protect these players.
100%. And by the way, Lionel Messi has a Navy SEAL that is the captain of 50 people who protects his family around the clock. The baseball stadiums could afford, the owners could afford to protect these guys with some professionals. Let's do that. I'm with you, Buster.
Yeah. Buster's surprisingly close to your idea of snipers. He's got tasers.
Yeah,
he went snipers.
I went snipers, but I did go tasers too.
Yeah, tasers and snipers.
Yeah. Make it, rather than have it be this, it feels like a lot of times it's, a drunk 22-year-old is going to impress his friends and it's all a big laugh if they get tackled or elude the cops. Make it less than that in terms of their experience. Put them in jail for 3 or 4 days. That's what they would do at Yankee Stadium, by the way. Yeah. If you ran out on the field on Friday, guess what? You're not meeting with a judge. You're sitting in jail for 3 days before that happened. I think they need to do more.
We don't live in a world where some lady can come out of the stands and kiss somebody on the cheek anymore.
Oh, Morgana.
It's
kissing bandit.
It's not that way anymore in our world. Sorry.
Did she ever track you down, Buster?
No, she didn't. And I do think for your listeners, you have to put full context. And when you talk about Morgana, you're talking about someone who is well endowed. Yeah. And the players expected Morgana and would remain in place when they got that kiss.
I was going to ask you height. How much taller? Was she taller than you, Buster?
Wow.
We will not
answer. Thank you so much.
Do not answer.
Buster was happy because Vandy is 1-0, and now you do that to Buster.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, Yankees at Astros, Sunday night, 6 o'clock ESPN. That's where we see Buster and the crew there in Houston. Yankees at Astros. Thank you very much, Buster. Have a great weekend.
Okay, guys. Take care.
All right,
Thanks.
buddy. See you next week. Buster with us each week, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round. He appeared on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Don't forget, at MyBookie.ag, when you use code next round, you get that welcome bonus. And you also, for a limited time, get a chip you can use at the MyBookie Casino. Go to Lance'sLock.com. He's going to have 3 games, 3 tonight or 4?
I got 3 up.
3 up tonight, Lance'sLock.com. Take those games, go to MyBookie.ag, use code NEXTROUND, get your season started right tonight at MyBookie.ag.
This hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Always love Sterling and the crew there, and by our friends at Bromberg's. Tell us about Bromberg's as well.
Yeah, I will. Was that more of a motorboating reference?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Buster was going to be staring down a double barrel shotgun in that kissing situation.
You weren't just short shame anymore.
No. I just thought he would be in harm's way, if you will.
Our friends at Bromberg's, family owned and operated since 1836. Bromberg's established a solid reputation as a fine purveyor of quality diamonds, as well as jewelry, timepieces, and gifts. Again, if you're in the market to give, if you're thinking about popping the question, these are your diamond specialists. Go see them. 2 great locations, Mountainburg and the Summit. You can also view that online store today. Go to brombergs.com.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
DryTech Water Restoration is a locally owned company that specializes in mold remediation, fire and water damage cleanup, and SteraMist services. DryTech's goal is to provide clients with expert guidance when dealing with any home disaster. DryTech's highly trained specialists are available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will work closely with you and your insurance company to make sure the process is stress-free as possible. Call DryTech today, 205-637-0143. The moment you discover damage to your home, DryTech's team will handle the rest.
If you're looking for a fun golf atmosphere that is laid back with a peaceful environment, the Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280, is perfect for you. Just a short drive from Birmingham, this 18-hole, 200-acre track with rolling fairways and ample greens is the definition of peacefulness of the country just miles from the city. Enjoy a great lunch before your round and a cocktail on the wraparound porch after 18. Come see us today. The Meadows Golf Course in Harpersville, right off of Highway 280.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
For 50 years, our friends at Wayne's have been doing things around your house that you don't have time to do. Warm weather is coming. You want that lawn looking great. You want mosquitoes not around. Our friends at Wayne's, they can help you out. Right now, they will do $50 off for each of those services to continue to celebrate their 50th anniversary. Again, our friends at Wayne's, they take care of all of us here on the Next Round. You don't want those mosquitoes. You want the lawn looking great. Call them today, 866-WAYNES1 or call waynes.com.
Let me tell you about Champy's Chicken for a second on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and his crew down there open for lunch now. We're into the lunch hour. Sterling Southern Fried Chicken, cooked to order there. Brian's it overnight. It's the juiciest fried chicken I've ever had. If you're a fried chicken person, you got to try it one time. Champy's world famous fried chicken, the Mississippi Delta recipe, tamales, and so much more. Sterling loves football too. No IMG game tonight. But because of the hurricane that came to ground in Florida, and we are thinking about all those people down there. But also, that football is postponed. But when you do go to a Thompson game, or if you're heading to tailgate this week at Bryant-Denny, or down to Jordan Hare, or maybe you're heading to Protective tonight. We've got a couple people walking around in their UAB gear, leaving work today to go straight down to Protective to tailgate. Take that tailgate from our friends at Champy's world famous fried chicken. When we get here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time, which of the games will we be talking about more, you think? Will it be Florida-Utah, or will it be Nebraska-Minnesota?
I think it'll be Florida-Utah simply because it impacts the Southeastern Conference. It's the Southeastern Conference team in Florida. And
yeah, even if Nebraska was to pull off that upset, I don't think there's a huge expectation for Minnesota this year.
Did you see the possibility of 4 stakes on the line this weekend? I sent that tweet out yesterday. Did you have by chance see that?
Well, I didn't even realize we made that Hugh Freeze bet, but that's a winner for you for sure.
Yeah.
I would have thought that I bet on Hugh Freeze. I'm such a Hugh Freeze fan.
Yeah, but he was at Liberty, and I think you were thinking maybe, I can't remember the discussion, that maybe he was going to end up at a not SEC
Yeah, you
school.
just thought he wouldn't get back in the SEC. That was the bet.
I don't know. Anyway, that's a winner for you. The drinks to receptions is going to be a win for me.
I have it on good authority that Alabama may not even pass the ball 38 a number of times in that contest. So I don't know if you can get close to that completion.
So UMass is a loss. That's a win for me. So those are a wash. And then the two other ones, we've got one tonight with Nebraska and Minnesota. You've got Nebraska to win the game outright.
I got Nebraska outright. 7 points I didn't get, so it's outright. I was drunk on Matt Rule at the time.
And then the other
is LSU loses in September. So if they lose on Sunday night, that's a possible stake bet right there. So four of them in play. So I'll try to do that going into the weekend to see if there's any actual ones in play going into the weekend. So 4 in play this weekend. Our friends at A+ changed the way these guys' bathrooms. They'll bring us our stock report today.
All right.
So why don't you tell us about our friends at A+ Flooring, and that'll get us to our stock report.
Well, they raised the stock of my house and my bathroom. That's, if you're watching us on video, a shot of our master bathroom there in my house. And it's the way we bought it when we bought the house. We weren't crazy about it. We like darker colors. So my wife and I said, well, hey, we're going to do it. So she scoured the internet. She talked to people that had used certain contractors. She talked to contractors. She read reviews, and she picked Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling. We gave him our vision, and Scott is showing you the result of that. It is exactly what we wanted. He didn't come in and say, you may want this, but no. He's like, you tell me what you want, I'll make it happen. That's exactly the way the conversation went. We laid it out. It looks beautiful. Lance did the same thing. Lance saw this, and he's like, you know what? I got a darker bathroom. I'd like it to be a little bit lighter. Same exact situation. Brad 2AT did what Lance wanted in that bathroom. He does master baths and kitchens. When you're selling a house, the two things people look at the most, master bath and kitchen. Master bath and kitchen. It's where you spend a lot of time, too, so you want to get it right. If you want to get it right, call my man Brad Bell, 205-422-1758. That is 205-422-1758. If you missed any of that, reach out to me. I'll get you in touch with Brad, A+ Tile Home Remodeling.
The College Football Spotlight.
Stock up, stock down. College football stock report.
Love her.
I forgot she did that so.
Stock down. Start us off, LT. Give me a stock up, stock down.
My stock up is going to be Houston, just based on those uniforms.
I love them.
Saw.
Baby blue.
Again, I think Texas San Antonio, the Roadrunners, are a better team, but look at those uniforms over there.
Gorgeous uniforms. Gorgeous.
So I'm just giving stock up for Dana Holgorsen just based on the fact that he greenlit those things.
Everyone is saying he should wear a cowboy hat tonight. He should go full Bob Phillips.
Do it.
Why would he not? My stock down is going to be Utah and Cam Rising. Look, we never got a clear answer, and it seems like the clear answer now is Cam Rising is not ready to play. The problem becomes, like, Bryson Barnes can go out there tonight.
Former walk-on.
And you can lean on the running game. You can lean on your defense. You can win that game. But when you start to look at potential roadblocks in the month of September, you got to go to Baylor next week. You've got UCLA, and you got to go to Corvallis before September's over. They could have 2 or 3 losses and be completely out of everything based on the fact that Cam Rising has not been cleared.
Was it Green Day?
Well, you got to tell me more.
Answer the question.
About September?
Yes, wake me up when September ends.
Yeah, wake me up when September ends. Close. That was close to getting that right.
Yeah.
Stock up, stock down for me. Florida State Seminoles. Boy, when's the last time people loved Florida State this much? Was it 2013?
DeAndre Francois
Maybe
playing Alabama.
2017?
Yeah.
Let's see if they live up to the hype.
But here's the deal. In my opinion, everyone's talking Jordan Travis, really good running game, possibly good offense. Their defense may be their story this year. If they meet expectations, we'll be talking Florida State defense. And my stock down is Indiana, is IU. Remember that one year?
I do.
With Michael Penix Jr.?
Tom Allen cashed in.
Was it a touchdown? Was it not a touchdown? And from that on, it was a special year. They've fallen way off. I will struggle, and not because I have DirecTV and it's on CBS, but I will struggle to watch Ohio State, Indiana this week. And I'll glance just to see what the quarterbacks look like.
What if you start somebody fantasy-wise in that game?
That's right. Yeah, you're going to want to watch it then.
Yeah, I got to get Lunsford to send out our college football fantasy. We need one tonight.
Indiana's fallen way off really quick there. Knowles and Indiana, stock up, stock down. What about you, Brownie?
Do you remember where you were Saturday, October 27th of 2018?
2018?
2018, Jimmy. Saturday, October 27th?
Saturday,
You're
October.
probably in Bryant Denny.
2018?
2018?
I think I was in New York City.
New York City was where Lance was.
I think then, Brown, I was watching an Ole Miss game.
It was that day that UMass won their last road game until Saturday when they won at
That was
New Mexico
week
State.
9.
I mean, 2018 was their last road win until this past Saturday.
I literally think I was in New York.
I think you might have been.
I got to
don't
check
know.
that.
I can believe it
because they beat UConn, I think.
Yeah, they did. Look at Jimmy D.
Oh.
They did beat UConn on the road. UMass is an awful program. They play Auburn this weekend, but they're coming off a road win. The chances of them getting back-to-back road wins pretty low, wouldn't you say? They haven't had one since 2018. Yeah, tough way to start the year for them.
I mean, Jim Harbaugh-esque Stanford USC.
Yeah,
last time I saw somebody win at 35 points plus.
It'd be about that size.
Yeah.
And my stock down, the time change, the time rule change. I mean, we spent all this time talking about it, all that effort for nothing. That was a big nothing burger.
Yeah, every coach yesterday, from Saban to Hugh Freeze, everyone saying not gonna bother them. Lane Kiffin's the only one. Lane Kiffin says, in his estimation, we're losing 1.7% of the game.
Well, okay.
So
that's very.
So if you have 100% of college football,
that's right.
In Lane's world now, we're getting 98.3% football.
Yep. Just wait till Lane starts his news conference by saying, "Guys, we're 1/4 of the way through football season."
Yeah, all I'm saying is Lane it's only 1.7% right now, and you guys are like, that's no big deal. But what if they come for another 1.7%?
They're going to take more from you. That's
and
right.
then another 1.7%.
Yep. They're never satisfied.
Before you know it, it's going to be all gone. That's our stock report today. That's our Thursday spotlight. So if you've been scoring with us at home, Mondays is future storylines in college football. Tuesday is the upset alert where we had the Brown Bandit earlier this week. Wednesday is sneaky good game. Thursday is the stock report. And on Fridays, it returns tomorrow. How many over under Forster? Get Forster's microphone. Over under. I'm gonna set the over under 3.5 on how many times LT can play a headline offer the Trojans this year.
You just didn't like it because I upstaged you on the headlines last year.
Your headlines are always better, but you're a USC fan. Trojan is always a funny line. 3.5 on Trojans.
Hey,
over under.
A lot of Cougars too.
Yeah, Cougars.
Cougars, Gamecocks. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can play.
sexual jokes.
Hey,
Oregon State might come up.
Yeah, that's true, Scott. You're right.
By the way, I've got a problem. I just checked it and confirmed it.
You got a problem?
No, that's the last time I was in New York, October 27th, 2018. I cannot believe I remember that.
That was pretty random.
Either.
Yeah, that was dead on.
Yes, that's pretty random.
Not where I thought you were going with that.
Yes, all right.
A pre-show conversation. I thought, quick break. All right.
Oh, we've settled down, my friend.
We're back at the game.
We've come out of the huddle and settled the crowd down there. All right, we've got trash in the next segment, and then Dan Orlovsky joins us. For those that are asking in the chat room, is Dan talking college football? Is he talking NFL or yes?
NFL primarily. Dan probably hit a little college, but he's not doing a college game this year. He's strictly NFL. I don't think so.
NFL.
Yeah, I think he's only doing NFL this year.
Hey, did you see, as we go to break here, and we'll make this the Michelson look ahead, the Peacock game, the East Carolina-Michigan game, that's Mike Tirico on play-by-play just on Peacock.
Really?
Mike Tirico, Phil Simms' boy, Chris. And some good sideline reporter.
How
It's a
about
great
that?
crew.
On Peacock,
But
huh?
it's straight up Peacock. I don't think it's on NBC. And it's not on CBS. That's the one game I didn't put on CBS. But it's on
got the rest
Peacock.
of them, yeah.
I was looking. I get the Football Writers Association list of the broadcasters, and Mike Tirico's doing a game on
I'm a little
Peacock.
surprised by that.
There's no NFL this week, but I wonder if he's doing a college game every week.
Well, no, I wouldn't think so because he'd be doing Notre Dame if he was.
Yeah, that's right, because Collinsworth kid's doing Notre Dame.
Jack Collinsworth's doing Notre Dame.
But they had the Ian Eagles kid,
Ian
Eagles kid doing it last week.
Noah.
Yeah, Noah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm close. Yeah. What time's Urban on? Tell us about Michelson Laser Vision. We'll take a quick break.
Yeah, again, I made that call over 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy Toe, the next round sent you. They're going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. Again, I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, which only took 12 minutes for both eyes, 2015 vision, better than 2020. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Follow Sean Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items, and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to The Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
The extra hours of sunshine are back on the clock, and that means it's time for golf at Timberline, a short drive from Birmingham or Montgomery. Go to timberlinegc.com, timberlinegc.com to book your tee times, schedule a lesson, or just drop by and use the TrackMan technology on the driving range. The course is always fun, in great shape, and you can even become a member. Get all the details at timberlinegc.com. It's time to get your golf on with our friends at Timberline. The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
All right, we roll on. Before we get to trash, one more thought on tonight's football game after I tell you about Storm Restoration Roofing. You know, Greg from Pell City, he loves to inspect your roof anytime. You know, really loves it when it's 110 degrees. But it's about to be Greg's time, right? Loves football on Saturday, loves his Dolphins on Sundays. Then Monday through Friday, when the temperatures get a little cooler in the fall, he'll spend hours on your roof checking it out. He does it when it's 100 too, but he really likes it in the fall. Sometimes he'll get up there and eat a sandwich, I think. Just likes the view from the top of your roof. It's a free no-cost roof inspection from Greg from Pell City. 205-542-3531, 542-3531. You may ask yourself, why does Greg need to inspect my roof, Jim? I think my roof is fine. Well, one windstorm, it could loosen a shingle, bend the shingle. All of a sudden, you got water leakage coming in. Thousands of dollars later, you're going to say, God, I wish I'd gotten a free no-cost roof inspection from Greg from Pell City. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Here's that number again. If you ever need it, just hit me up on social media. 205-542-3531, 542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. You can directly contact him on Facebook. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. So we're excited for Florida and Utah tonight, 7 o'clock ESPN. No Cam Rising in that game, -4.5. Utah the favorite there. Nebraska and Minnesota, 7 o'clock Fox. A lot of coaches making their debut this weekend. There's one in Matt Rule on that one. NC State, UConn, one game we haven't talked about. Could that be close? UConn, a home 2-touchdown underdog.
Yeah, look, this is a team that won 6 games under Jim Mora Jr. It really depends on how good this transfer quarterback's going to be from Maine that they're going to be starting for UConn. Again, NC State with Brendan Armstrong reunited with his former offensive coordinator at Virginia, where he had a hell of a season in 2021. We do have a side on this game.
Yes, sir. Lanceslock.com for that one. By the way, if you're an LSU fan, no John Emery Jr. for Sunday night's game. That coming from Brian Kelly yesterday. So John Emery Jr. joins Mason Smith on the not available list coming up Sunday for LSU. All right, trash time. Hit the big button, Rockstar, right now.
We tried to reach out to the man who died in this pursuit. They were unavailable for comment. Micah, back to you.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
And buying a home, a major milestone in life. Getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with our friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. Call them today, locally owned and operated. They've got 2 locations right here on Highway 280 in Birmingham, Parkway Drive in Leeds, 205-815-9200 or MLS 2239, equal housing lender. We start with some offbeat holidays in September. Hard to believe September will be here
Already
tomorrow.
here. Yeah,
Next week.
crazy.
Or tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Technically.
Yes.
Monday, September 4th, bring your manners to work day. Now, the good news for most people is they won't be working.
Yeah, it's an interesting day to be on Labor
I know.
Day.
That's so rude to be out. But
September 5th is Cheese Pizza Day. I think we should do some pizzas from Slice.
I love it. I'm gonna give one cheese for Rockstar. He says everybody always eats it first.
September 12th, Chocolate Milkshake Day. Don't go to McDonald's, right?
It's always
for
broken.
McFlurry.
Yeah.
I thought their milkshakes were broken a lot, too.
Anything that's cold, I think anything has to be milkshake ice cream is troublesome.
For you fellas, September 17th is Wife Appreciation Day.
I do.
You
I
get
try to.
one day.
Yeah, you should
One
make that
day.
every day of the year.
I'm going out of town the 17th, though.
We'll take you out to dinner tonight. Until then, what's for dinner?
Monday, September 18th is National Cheeseburger Day.
I like that, too.
I'm grilling them tonight.
All right. Jim celebrating early.
Grilling them.
Yeah.
You're singular.
multiple.
Well, I know Carter will be at the house
Oh,
tonight.
okay.
So,
Oh, yeah, but if I grill burgers, I always eat 2.
Yeah.
I never just eat one burger off the
when
grill.
they're better grilled than they are out. Yeah,
yeah, no doubt. But
Yeah.
if I'm going to grill them, I'm going to eat 2.
I was going to surprise him with that last night, but right before I fired up the grill, he walked in with fast food, and I was like, I'm going to do this tomorrow.
Yeah, double cheeseburger for me every time.
And finally, September 25th is National Quesadilla Day. Love me a quesadilla.
I like a quesadilla. Yep.
And I just like mine plain. Like, again, when I do Mexican food, typically no meat. I know you don't like that, but I'll just do a cheese quesadilla, little onion in it, fresh jalapenos, or pickled jalapenos.
Sounds good.
We've got a child being a child on an airplane has once again sparked outrage on the internet as a viral video depicting a child who looks to be between the ages of 5 and 7 wearing a bright light-up bunny hat on a flight and grinning.
I mean, that's a lot on a dark flight.
The dad's the sketchier one. Look at that. Like,
Yeah, I know.
Now, he looks like the dude that used to host Cold Pizza. What was that guy's name?
Oh, I know you're talking about. I
Oh,
don't know his
Jay
name.
Crawford.
Yeah.
How do I know that name?
Is that Jay Crawford?
It is a little Jay Crawford.
Because he was a sportscaster for a
Yeah,
while,
he
too,
was,
right?
yeah.
Now, around him, though, the adults were displeased, complaining that they couldn't sleep as the hat flashed on and off throughout the flight.
Yeah, that's
It's a
pretty
flight.
bad.
You're not supposed to sleep, though. you
Yeah,
know?
I am. It's a flight. I want to
Yeah,
sleep.
but you can if you want to, but it's not, you're not in a hotel room. You're not in a bedroom.
No, that thing is getting taken and
that's-
slung
yeah,
across
that's
the
tacky.
plane.
Yeah, that's really good. You're going to do that to the kid?
Well, the kid should be wearing that on a plane. The parents should step in and be parents. That's stupid.
Yep. Around him, adults not happy. The clip has now amassed 280,000 views, with thousands of funnier comments than the video. As other flyers took pictures of their cabin mate, the child smiled for the camera, which offended the adults who thought the kid was being annoying on purpose.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Yes. Yeah. That's on the parents right there. I don't even blame the kid. I blame the parents. For
Yeah,
being
it's
bad
like
parents.
it's like dudes getting pissed
I
at
know.
somebody for taking a picture of his kid.
Yeah, be a better
All right,
parent.
great time to throw this stat out for you. By the way, toy sales around the globe are down 7%. We don't
Wow.
let kids be kids anymore.
Get this kid a toy, and they won't be wearing some flashing hat. Yes.
I mean, everybody's an asshole these days.
Everybody.
Everybody, Jim.
I mean, would you let your kid do
No,
that?
I mean,
not in
I
a
would not
million
let
years.
my kid do it,
But
I'm
you were
not-
the one when I was trying to sleep. You were talking to somebody else's kid.
Yeah, I was talking to the 2-year-old because she was a kid.
Yeah.
They should have
She
put
was
a
a
gag
kid.
ball on that 2-year-old
Oh,
because he
my
was
God.
being way too
Oh
loud.
my God! I hope Chili and other people are listening right
Hey,
now.
Chili's in boot camp right now.
Okay.
It's going on 3rd week.
That kid should be in boot camp.
I mean, that's what parents are for, right? 36-year-old man has been arrested after he was allegedly caught on surveillance footage injecting poison under the door of a neighbor's home in Tampa, Florida.
That'll get them.
Oh, that's a terrorist attack.
It is.
What do you want
Zooming
the security
Lee.
camera. I want to just at the doorstep.
Yes.
It's not going to be used for just people's shoes. No, it's
Yeah.
going to catch one guy. I
Yeah.
promise.
No, I this security camera. I would also want to see the people who set the security camera's laptop. I'd like to know what you're videoing.
Dude, this is crazy. Juming Lee has been charged with injecting a chemical agent with a syringe under the door of a condo. Now, the report states Mr. Lee had been seen injecting the liquid under the door. On several occasions, testing revealed the liquid is a narcotic, methadone and hydrocodone.
Hydrocodone.
That's it.
Oh, yes.
Which are both used to treat pain. Side effects for both of the drugs include restlessness, stomach pain, vomiting, breathing difficulties, skin issues, chest pain, diarrhea, hallucinations, and fainting.
Yeah,
Now,
Island.
The resident Umar Abdullah smelled the chemicals in his home with his baby, aged 10 months, began vomiting, leading him to installing security cameras. Tampa Fire and Rescue came to the home several times, but they couldn't find what caused the smell. Security footage shows...
Where is this?
This is in Tampa.
Tampa.
Yep.
Go Bucks. Oh, my goodness.
So he was never arrested.
How is that possible?
I think we need an arrest here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the other guy was doing, but I know what this guy was doing.
So over the past few years, brawls at malls.
By the way, don't go to
centers.
this guy's door for trick or treat.
That's true.
Don't tell him what's
Good
in his
idea.
apple.
Over the past few years, brawls at malls and shopping centers have become somewhat regular. But at Moreno Valley Mall, the 3 fights that happened on Sunday were beyond the pale, requiring the Riverside County Sheriff's Department to be called, and management is cracking down on unoccupied teens.
Oh, Patrick Mahomes barely escaped.
Yeah. Boy, bad off season for him.
His calves begin, they don't stop.
Wow.
He's in permanent throwing motion, though.
Now, the youths were drawn by $4 movie tickets may now face additional stipulations if they visit the shopping center after 5 p.m. on weekdays or anytime on weekends. Specifically, the mall plans to require minors to wear lanyards that feature their names and contact information that can be used to report misbehavior to their parents, according to the Press Enterprise.
Because nobody's going to lie on those.
No, not at all.
But I used to wreak havoc every Friday and Saturday night at the old Brookwood Mall.
Yeah,
and
but
we
you wouldn't do
probably
this.
needed lanyards. Oh, we did a lot. We would go to the toy stores. This is so bad. And like one of us would push the other guy through a big display of the toy boxes where they completely wipe them out.
Oh, that is.
Oh, we were delinquents.
Yep.
And finally, I've got charming old-fashioned compliments.
All right.
The belly bone. Belly bone's a delightful term for a lady rich in personality as well as physical
She's the
beauty.
old belly bone. That does not sound good.
The ball cock.
Oh, boy.
Yes, keep going.
Yes.
After your funniest friend earns a big laugh, champion him or her as the group's beloved wag. The peerless paramour. If you're looking for a bit of Middle Ages jargon that feels a little more romantic, this phrase denoting unbeatable affection is the way to go. Bricky is an adjective you can use to laud a friend for his or her reliability. And the jammiest bits of jam, this old slang superlative, actually signifies perfect young female. She's the jammiest bits of jam.
Boy,
And
they
that
used
is
to
Trash
talk
Today,
weird.
brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, there's Mortgage Right, 2 locations here in Birmingham, locally, one on 280, one Parkway Drive in Leeds. Call them today, 205-815-9200 or mortgageright.com/TNR.
Dan Orlovsky's next.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, and compression therapy all under one roof. It's our friends at HydroLive. Mention Next Round at checkout. Save 20% off any service. HydroLive's got 3 locations, Homewood, Tuscaloosa, and coming soon to Greystone. For 50 years, our friends at Wayne's have been doing things around your house that you don't have time to do. Warm weather is coming. You want that lawn looking great. You want mosquitoes not around. Our friends at Wayne's, they can help you out. Right now, they will do $50 off for each of those services to continue to celebrate their 50th anniversary. Again, our friends at Wayne's, they take care of all of us here on The Next Round. You don't want those mosquitoes. You want the lawn looking great. Call them today, 866-WAYNES1 or call waynes.com. Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap. You've heard us rave about our friends at Legacy. Now I want to tell you about their everyday checking. How about this? No monthly fees, no minimum balance. One of the great perks, get paid 2 days early with direct deposit, instant issue debit cards. And there are some additional perks on top of that with the digital banking app. Absolutely love checking that. The official credit union of UAB, our friends at Legacy, dedicated service to education and healthcare industries for more than 60 years.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Let's talk football with Dan Orlovsky, brought to you by our friends at MyBookie.ag.
He'll be right here every single Thursday with us throughout the NFL season into the Super Bowl. From ESPN, Dan Orlovsky, MyBookie.ag, code Next Round when you sign up there for that welcome bonus. Welcome in, Dan. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys?
Doing awesome. Preseason is preseason. I don't know what you can learn from it. What is the thing you learned the most from watching preseason football?
Yeah, I try to really pay attention to like individual performances more than unit and or teams, because you never know what guys are playing and what role, and you're obviously not showing a ton schematically. I think the big takeaway is some of the younger quarterbacks and how ready they look to go play and impact in the NFL. I mean, even if you look at Jordan Love, and he's not young in regards to like experience in the NFL, but for Green Bay, we've never really seen him on the field outside of like mop up duty or one game here when Aaron wasn't there. So how much he looks ready to just seamlessly step in. And then, even Bryce Young for Carolina, like Bryce looks like the Bryce at Alabama. CJ Stroud in Houston, he looks a lot like the guy we watched at Ohio State. And so I think that there's how healthy the NFL is at the quarterback position with some of the young known commodities, but also how healthy they look for some of the young, I guess we call them right now, unknown commodities.
Hey, back to Jordan Love and the Packers. I had a Packers fan ask me last night, why are the Bears getting a lot of love? And I said, well, look, there's a lot of potential with Justin Fields, but that division is wide open. Detroit looks to be the most talented team. You played there for years, but Detroit, based on the organization, you don't know what's going to happen there. And it just seems like that division, with Minnesota winning so many tight games last year, that division seems wide open.
Yeah, very much so. I'm not in the giving love to Chicago as a team world. I try to remind people, Chicago had the number one pick in the NFL draft. The number one pick. The only team we've seen kind of have that number one pick and somehow flip it relatively quickly was Jacksonville last year. But they also had Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson come in and a kind of a plethora of built-up picks before then. So I think Chicago's intriguing because their roster is healthier and Justin is so dynamic. If Justin takes that massive third-year leap, I expect a good leap, not this, hey, he plays so well, they're going to win 12 games leap. So they're intriguing. Minnesota, I agree. And there's such an unknown because we don't know how well that defense is going to play. They have a new defensive coordinator, Brian Flores. It's going to be a blitz party, but I don't know if they have the humans on the back end coverage wise to do that. Detroit is the team that last year played so well down the end. And even like, if you watch Detroit last year, they lost 3 games early on off stupidity. And it was Philadelphia. They scored like 45 and lost. It was Seattle. They scored like 42 and lost. So their offensive line will be top 3. Jared's really good. Ben Johnson, their play caller, America, is going to have a very much a better understanding of who he is 9 days or 8 days from now, Friday morning after the opener. And with Green Bay, it's Green Bay's one of those teams situation wise, crazy young and talented on offense. They have 8 first round. It's a crazy stat about Green Bay last year. They had 4,219 snaps played on defense by first round draft picks. They were the 28th ranked defense in the NFL on a play-by-play basis. So you sit there and go, gosh, there's a lot of first-round talent, but they have to play up to it.
Wow. Listen, I spent my whole career in college markets, so I don't understand the inner working of an NFL locker room like you do, having been in one. How does the Jonathan Taylor thing play out in the locker room with his teammates?
Yeah, I think everyone's natural reaction is like, well, if they're not going to pay Jonathan, will they ever pay me? If you're paying attention to the NFL, you can't say that because it's happening to every running back. It's not just in a singular locker room. It's a tough situation because it's a very young football team in Indy, and there's no question about it. He is their best player, certainly on offense. So you sit there and go, we're trying to get this youth movement. We're trying to rebuild our football team. And our best player is not here. And so you live in this world of respecting his business aspect, that I'm trying to go get my money, while also going, we got this really crazy talented quarterback in Anthony Richardson. And if you two are on the backfield, our chances to win the football game are exponentially higher than if only one of you is. And so it's tough to swallow because you're playing games. I guess one hand tied behind your back because he's making in many ways, he's making a choice to hold out, while also knowing if you were in that situation, you would probably be doing the same thing, protecting the business aspect of it. So it's tough. And you try to you compartmentalize it, respect, while also like, man, I wish it was here.
Dan Orlovsky with us at Dan Orlovsky7 on Twitter. Of course, you see him on ESPN. 1 week from the start of the NFL season, Lions-Chiefs next Thursday night on NBC. Dan with us throughout the NFL season, courtesy of MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND when you go there to sign up at MyBookie.ag. Do you foresee any scenario where Mike McCarthy says, all right, let me see what Trey Lance can do? I mean, is this a 100% backup situation for him?
Unless disaster strikes in Dallas and the quarterback Dak Prescott falls flat on his face, I do not see that happening. This is a team that's won 12 games in back-to-back years and has lost to the team that's essentially gone to the NFC Championship in back-to-back years while in the playoffs. So it's a really, really good football team. They can win the Super Bowl. Absolutely. They are talented enough. So my point that has been made on this in regards to the actual addition, I disagree with the way that they went about it. I think it was dumb not to tell him or Mike McCarthy that they were adding him. I would be shocked if Dak Prescott has 2 bad seasons in a row. He's a good player. Like that, Dak has had moments of really good. He's historically great valuing the football up until last season. I would be very surprised if a guy that for 7 years was historically great valuing the football and 1 year was really bad, had back-to-back years of giving the ball away. So I just don't envision a moment because of my expectation for Dak this year where Trey Lance gets on the field.
A 17-week NFL schedule is grueling. It's made worse when you start losing. I only know one Arizona Cardinal fan in the world, and it's one of my best friends, and he told me last week when I was about to watch USC, make sure our quarterback of the future doesn't get hurt. If you're one of these veterans in the locker room, if you're James Conner or Budda Baker, how pissed are you knowing that Arizona cut your best option in Colt McCoy? Not that guy's going to get you to the playoffs, but they bring in Josh Dobbs knowing it looks like they're just going to tank this season.
Yeah, easiest way to lose in the NFL is quarterback play. And Arizona's doing everything they can to ensure not playing good football, at least at the quarterback spot. I think Josh is building himself a good career. If you're one of those veterans, really what you hope is that you play well, stay healthy, and you have the chance to be traded at some point during the season, that a team comes and needs your services, because there's no questions asked that Arizona, and I don't blame them, is fingers crossed that they get one of those 2 top picks. I don't I don't think that Kyler plays for them this year just because of the way his contract is worded and the risk of if he does and injury happens, some of the money that, could get guaranteed within that. So it's tough for a veteran. It's a reality for a veteran and no one cares. Go do your job as good as you can. And hopefully you continue to make your money. And if you're Arizona, your reality is your fingers are crossed, hoping you have to make a decision next year between Caleb Williams and Drake May.
All right, the college season kicks for real tonight. When Dan is with us at this time next week, the NFL season will be kicking for real next Thursday night. We look forward to that. Thank you very much for the time, Dan. Enjoy the rest of the off season, which is only 1 week now.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good Labor Day weekend. Enjoy college football, guys.
All right, buddy. We'll see you next week. Dan Orlovsky with us weekly on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Don't forget that code next round for the welcome bonus for a limited time. A chip you could use in the MyBookie store or in MyBookie Casino, Go to Lance'sLock.com. Get his plays for tonight. Take him over to MyBookie. Use code next round at MyBookie.ag and start the season off the right way.
Karen says Cowboys will not win the Super Bowl. Ross says this is the only guy in the media defending Dak, who I think is a top 10 quarterback in the league. We'll see what happens there. Quickly about our friends at Simpio, one last thing to tell you about before we leave.
Yeah, one of the first calls we made here on this venture was to Blake Patterson and the guys at Simpio, and one of the reasons they're going to handle the BS in every single office. When your company joins Simpio, they're going to take care of HR, compliance, payroll, and benefits. You can join Simpio any time of year, no annual contract. With that being said, Simpio has a 99% retention rate. Make the call today, 205-635-7467 or Simpio.com.
Make sure you go over to Disrupt the Media YouTube channel. Subscribe over there to War Damn Pods, Roll Tide Pods, and the next round and everything that you get over at Disrupt the Media. And all the content. That includes the second episode of Spitting Lugs today with LT and Tom Luganbill. A big in-depth look at LSU, Florida State coming up this weekend. And Liam Neeson and Denzel Washington on the big screen. A great conversation there. Also, the first episode of Unlocked is over there with LT and Brock Heward, where they talk about whether or not Texas is actually a college football playoff contender and a lot more. That's Unlocked and Spittin' Lugs and everything else that has happened this week over on the Disrupt the Media YouTube channel. Go like and subscribe, including our boys McCready and Siski over there with their show. You can go catch all of that at Disrupt the Media. That's the show today. Enjoy your football tonight. I'm about to sit down with Tyler Watts and talk a little Alabama football. That'll be over on Disrupt the Media coming up later on today. So enjoy that. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.